So gods, we're here, quarterfinal.
It's two teams I think most people will have heard of by now as well.
Well, some people. Most people know a lot of the names from these teams, but never really know the organizations. Of course, NAVI, one of the lower respected brands across the entire world. Obviously, I'm trolling everyone. No, NAVI, one of, in fact, the most popular team across Europe as well as America. Even when it comes to China, these guys are insanely popular. And then Evil Geniuses, a lot of people look at them as that, well, they are now the last hope for the USA.
Yeah, Dignitas knocked out EG, are the one remaining hope. And it's going to be tough here. We have got a very tough first-round matchup for them in NAVI. The toughest of matchups possible with this quarterfinal match. And, well, EG, we'll see what they come up with. This is going to be entirely reliant on having a strong draft, a strong early game start if they want to take down a team like NAVI.
Well, how are we going so far? So we start off with our bans. We're not going to see the Bounty Hunter we've been looking at in the last game, because that was played by Fun. It would have been a different role when it's played by Light of Heaven, but still just as effective. Templar Assassin also banned, almost standard bans up against NAVI. And Puppy removing out Mag, which I'm really happy to see, because most of the time he just completely destroys fights that never should be destroyed. Batrider also being taken out, which is one of those heroes. We saw his effectiveness up against Ven with a lockdown through the last Surya, so Faceless Void being done. Darkseer now appears for Fear. First pickup, we're not looking at this as the way we do the Empire draft, so don't get depressed instantly.
Yeah. No, this is still okay for EG. They get that strong team fight, the strong offlaner. NAVI, something they haven't done much. They've left Wisp in the pool, probably expecting that EG less likely to run. They do occasionally go with the Wisp Sven, with the beaters, with having Fear playing that Sven, but right now NAVI not as afraid as that as the Demon Batrider. They're going to take that out of the pool. NAVI now with 2 picks of their own coming out. Where do we go from here for NAVI? Maybe just
Jakiro.
Yeah, Jakiro. Elsewhere, maybe even NAVI can look to pick up a Wisp of their own, something that they do run on occasion.
It's possible, but I'm wondering right now, NAVI have to make the choice. Do they run aggressive tri-lane? Do they just leave one person to go up against the Darkseer? Or do they try and go with a Wisp? Do they look for a mid-time gank, or do they run aggressive tri-lane down the bottom and then just try and destroy everything? And if it's the aggressive tri-lane at the bottom, well, we look to pick up our offlane hero and support to start with, in my mind, because they won't want to reveal that fact until later on. But if they're going to run aggressive tri-lane, they don't want to let it out of their hands anyway. That Jakiro is just always key to make it happen. Who it combines up with? Do they go double whammy? Do we see the Lashrak as well come out from them? It's in the hands of NAVI, and it's a best of 3, so they can play around Jakiro and Wisp, so we get both of what we're talking about.
Well, they pick up their 2 supports, so as far as revealing their hand, they've revealed very little. They are going to be looking to go fairly aggressive with the Wisp. It kind of shows that they probably don't want to go offensive trial, and Wisp just not a very strong hero to go in that off lane. He can't really do much at those early levels, so more likely than not, NAVI are going to go with a safe lane trial and have the Jakiro maybe using some pull camps, just get whatever farm and XP he can there. But NAVI, EG just have no idea. What do they want in terms of carries, solos? You've got Light of Heaven, his win rate still in the pool. You've got plenty of heroes for Dendy in the mid lane. Havost, I mean, with a Wisp there, you're looking at something like a CK, maybe a Sven. But there's plenty of options for NAVI. EG have to be wondering what is coming their way.
Yeah, they might even actually have to pick up the Sven right now so they can block it from NAVI. They've still got that 1 extra pick, and in fact, Fear's going to do exactly that. We're going to get Melk's Enigma coming into the pool as well. So 3 heroes. We know Demon loves his Darkseer. Fear, I don't know if he loves it, but he's definitely good at it, the Sven. And then Melk loves his Enigma. Anything which allows him to move through the jungling and farm up nice and fast, that's going to be his hero. So that's the 3rd pickup now coming the way of EG. And NAVI, their final pickup, what do they want to couple it up with? Do we go the CK before it gets banned? Because I can guarantee you, EG, in these last 3 picks, if NAVI doesn't pick up that combination hero for the Wisp, every single combination hero will be removed.
Yeah, it probably will be the focus of EG's bans. Maybe ban out a hero or 2 of Dendy's if they don't pick up a solo mid now. So for NAVI, where do you go with the 3rd pick? If it's not Chaos Knight, you can maybe run something like a Faceless Void. We've seen Faceless Void handle the Sven fairly well throughout this tournament. The lockdown that he provides, the bash, the Chronosphere, great way of dealing with it. You can lock a Darkseer as well, prevent the Surge up, prevent an Enigma Black Hole. Chronosphere is just a great tool to have against all these heroes on the EG side.
Yeah, that it is, man. That absolutely is. The question, though, is still posed to NAVI, and Puppy, a man who doesn't normally take a lot of time when he drafts. He normally knows exactly what's going to be coming at him, and it is going to be the CK. It is going to be the CK, so we're going to go with one of Favorsk's favorite heroes, and it's going to be ganking everywhere on the map, stop Sven from doing anything, really, if he wants to go over aggressive. And I'm wondering if Na'Vi will even look for a little bit more control and put Light of Heaven on that Nature's Prophet and try and go for a full global ganking TP.
Yeah, well, we see EG. This is pretty much ban out those solo heroes. You either target Light of Heaven or you target Dendy. So far, it looks like they're going to target Light of Heaven. Ban out his Brood, maybe ban out his Windrunner and his Nature's Prophet. Those are probably the big 3 heroes which Na'Vi will be looking to pick up him. The problem is with Dendy, you can't really ban out his heroes because he has too many. Na'Vi just so versatile. It could be the Queen of Pain, it could be heroes like DK we've seen in the past, the Pudge. There's just no sort of go-to ban for
We haven't even
Na'Vi.
thought about Wisp and Pudge being put together. It could be Chaos on, it could be Pudge.
They could even run dual lanes here. Go for an aggressive dual lane mid, go for an aggressive dual lane in the safe lane. That's something which Na'Vi can look to sort of punish some of these EG lanes with, especially with an Enigma in the jungle. You're pretty much guaranteed that if you're Na'Vi, because they've picked up the Darkseer for the off lane. So it makes EG's lanes weaker. They're going to have that one less hero who can contribute in the lanes. Na'Vi may look to punish that by running 2 strong dual lanes to punish the 2 solos, then have just an off lane hero who can just stay alive as well as possible.
So, Fear, are you going to be 100% right? And we're going to see the bans coming out, and it's going to be Chen's. They actually take out one of Puppy's heroes, thinking that maybe we're still looking at that Jakiro solo mid, or, as you said, possible dual lanes, but we're switching up very, very randomly in roles. It would have had to have been Dendy onto that Jakiro.
Yeah, it's something a bit different coming out from EG. We did see Dendy do the one solo mid Jakiro when it was up against the Templar Assassin, and I guess something that EG may be thinking Na'Vi can do. He loved to max out that Liquid Fire and just really prioritizing pushing down towers as fast as possible. Something which EG don't have much of at this point in the game. They can't really counter push all that well.
Yeah, that's definitely true. So if Na'Vi want to go for a full push, maybe that's what the thoughts behind that. Also Broodmother as well as Chen. You're not looking at it as far as just banning out against what's strong in the lanes, but we're looking about that unstoppable push. When you want to push in, you got Wiz, you got Jakiro, you got Chaos Knight, and he wants to come into that, or is going to be locked out. There's the Nature's Prophet ban, but it is going to mean that Windrunner is available for Na'Vi, and they ban out the Disruptor. They're waiting for that horrible, horrible combo of Darkseer into the Enigma Black Hole and then Sven AoE stun. Just those 3 heroes combined together already have a lot of gank potential, but at the same time, Wisp always keeps a little bit of space behind him. He's not going to be pulled in by that vac if he's able to keep that tether far enough away. Jakiro likes to throw his Ice Path from a long way away as well. And Chaos Knight can reposition after the first vac in, unless, of course, the Black Hole is right on top of him. Then he's in a lot of trouble. And Shadow Demon will be the pickup here from EG.
I like the support. Wow. There's Dendy. Yeah, there is Dendy in the mid lane. The Shadow Fiend's going to be picked up, and well, no real solo mid hero picked up for EG as of yet, so they can maybe get something which can match up well against that. The Shadow Demon Sven likely to be their dual lane with the Enigma in the jungle, the Darkseer off lane. What will be for the mid lane? What do we see? Either Jo or Fear, well, probably Jo playing in that mid lane with Fear playing that safe lane Sven, and it's an Invoker. Ooh.
He's probably trying to look at what is the only hero that can probably stand up against the Shadow Fiend, and with everyone that's been taken out, with the TA already being removed, Batrider already being removed, Mag's taken out, Queen of Pain's taken out as well, they were pretty short options.
Now, this will be interesting to see if we're looking at the Exalt build or the Quaz Wex. With the Shadow Demon Sven dual lane, Exalt can easily be used to set up some kills here, depending on who Na'Vi have in that off lane. Maybe they even look to completely abandon it, because there aren't many strong off lanes left in the pool apart from that Windrunner. And Windrunner against that dual lane with Sunstrikes coming in probably can't even survive.
Yeah. So what do we do else? Maybe we can go back down a little bit more classic, go Beastmaster instead, and throw him and just try and pull that Ancient Stag. Obviously, a little bit harder because most teams, they can pick up Beastmaster, you know it's going to happen. So Na'Vi, if that happens, they'll have to prepare for it. But what other options do we really have for the offlane? We can still look at another couple of Invis heroes, maybe for a runaround. Klink's offlane, not as effective, and a Denying Lich offlane if Light of Heaven picks it up. Or maybe it is forced to be an aggressive. We see your dual lanes you were
Light of Heaven. This is going to be Light of Heaven on that offlane Lich, and this is something that was done ages back and was very successful for a while until teams started being really aggressive and pushing down the tower fast. EG have an aggressive dual lane, but they don't have the ability to push down the tower fast until Malk comes out. Malk wants to get his level 5, level 6 fast, then they can look to punish the Lich, but early on,
Dendy is going to be at the right time.
Yeah, at that point, you're maybe even looking at Wisp. Well, Wisp CK probably not going to get that level 6 that fast, but it's still a position where Light of Heaven can deny a lot of farm from Fear on this Sven, and that's a really nice little pickup. For Na'Vi as their last pick. You've got Frost Armor as well later on in the game to help counteract the Sven DPS, and overall, I like where Na'Vi have gone.
Well, Let's see how they're going to run. They're already heading down towards that bottom lane, and I love Light of Heaven's build to start with too. He knows movement speed, may be able to get some level of experience if he's close enough, and no one else on EG is going to be buying boots very early on. Sure, he might have a Surging Darkseer, but that's not going to remain on that bottom lane. You kind of know he's going to head up towards that top lane, and Legia, who is going to go cross build. We can see him there on the Invoker. Demon is taking the Darkseer, always the offlane. Malk always in the jungle. Beat is on the Shadow Demon, and that leaves Fear now farming Sven, and all 5 heroes from both the teams coming in. And Na'Vi, are they going to loop around, try and come in behind, or is this just a warding expedition? They're actually checking for Roshan.
Yeah.
EG is coming in to check for
Smart.
Roshan. This could be very, very dangerous. If they get caught coming back up towards the high ground,
this is very dangerous for EG, but it's smart that they do check this. With the Shadow Fiend Aura, with a Lich Frost Armor at level 1, you get a stout shot on this Chaos Knight, and they could kill this at level 1. Definitely possible, but the problem is they're going to find themselves getting flanked by Na'Vi when they try to go back into their own jungle. Na'Vi are going to be in the perfect position. EG maybe should have put down a ward to cover their tracks on their retreat, but oh boy, this could be a disastrous start. And look at EG's heroes. For a level 1 fight, Invoker can't really contribute much. Malk's already got conversion. There's no point getting stunned regardless. And Demon, well, he hasn't skilled anything here. Maybe he gets a point in Surge if they're going to look to run, or if you look to fight, the Iron Shell is a good level 1 spell, but Na'Vi just have such a superior level 1 team fight.
yeah. We've got Raids, we've got Ice Path. Even with that tether, it's going to let Horvorst get in nice and close. There's going to be a Chaos Bolt. And if Lich wants to as well, he can go Frost. It's a wonderful level 1 team fight for Na'Vi. That's probably the reason too why they have no real fear down here inside the jungle. But EG, we do have this quick pause as Demon just screamed out, leave, pause, wait. Something went horribly, horribly wrong. So I don't know if Malk fell off his chair. Maybe he didn't take James's advice. Couple of drinks before you start, fall off the chair, get back on it, you'll be fine.
Well, it was actually something that has changed in this EG lineup over the last month or so. No longer Malk in the captain seat. Fear has been drafting.
Yeah,
he's been, for all intents and purposes, he is the captain of this team at this point. And for the most part, EG have had some decent results. They've been running 2 or 3 different strategies, really successful. Everyone knows their Knight strategy. They've been using a lot of the Batrider Lifestealer bombs. They have these 6 strategies which have worked out well. They've really refined them. This game here, though, against Na'Vi, they have to pull out something different. They decide Na'Vi's not a team you can get away with these strategies being predictable. They're going with something different here with the Shadow Demon support. The Invoker at mid, really the one key difference, and it'll be interesting to see how Geo impacts this game. He's going for the Quas build, so it's not going to be looking to be too aggressive getting kills around the map. He's going to be looking just to shut down the Shadow Fiend at mid.
Well, here we go. So Fear already turning himself around at the same time. Puppey, Dendy, they are going to walk in. They instantly see Fear, but tether away. Na'Vi, they don't want to take this.
Chaos Knight has already started backing off to it. I think Chaos Knight was just out of position there. As soon as they see Sven, they see Horvorst not in position. They back off, they take the safer option, and, well, for Na'Vi, I guess they decide they don't need to risk this. Light of Heaven just wants to get back in position to get the Dark Ritual, the Sacrifice off as fast as possible, and Na'Vi just going to play this safe.
You're so Warcraft 3. You're so Warcraft 3. That's right, just call it by its Hon name and everyone loves you for that one.
Begins.
I haven't done that in a while. Could be good times, man. Could be good times. Watching this bottom lane though, Na'Vi, like Puppey and Arsat, they're not really walking too far away from here. I'm wondering if we are going to see counter warding and maybe a possible gank for the middle. Like Arsat's going to come up, look for the sentry wall. Where's he going to place it? The observer wall for the radiant side is a long way off to the side. And yep, nope, that it's warding to block the camp. That is all they want to do. They don't want to be facing up against that in the middle lane. And it's going to be Horvorst in the middle lane up against the Invoker. And all of a sudden, Demon says, maybe this is my day. I can damage down Dendy to bring him down to half life. But then again, Dendy as well can right-click and do a lot of damage up on that top lane and bring down Demon after he's got a couple of levels and a couple of souls up his sleeve.
Not a fun lane for Dendy. The Darkseer just going to creep skip, make it really hard for Dendy to last down to the tower. Sure, you can sort of try time the last hit as well as possible. You also have to tank the creep waves. Makes it very, very difficult. Puppey going to rotate top, just help deal with this. He's going to go in on Demon, but not going to be enough damage to kill him, but will sort of deter Demon from continuing to creep skip.
Yeah, I think Puppey, all he wants to do is just keep that stun rolling, and, well, if he's able to bring down the creep, which he does do so, then there's no tether left, but searching himself away, Demon, he can't do it anymore. Like, Puppey will keep on doing this. He'll keep stunning him up, he'll keep on the creep wave back, and then he will continue to collect up more souls, and the more he does this, the more problematic it's going to be for if Demon overextends himself a little bit, continues to keep that tether stun going, and then maybe even Wisp Spirits up at that level 2. Small hit, slow down, and you're dead.
This is the strong dual lanes coming out from Na'Vi. They know the Enigma's going to the jungle. They know it's something they can punish. They got a dual lane mid, keeping Invoker away from farm, making him having a hard time at mid lane. Then top lane, they run the dual lane with the Shadow Fiend Wisp. They're not going to completely shut down Demon's farm, keep him out of XP range, but it's going to guarantee that Dendi doesn't get put under too much pressure here. So Na'Vi making the best of the fact there's an Enigma in the jungle, and something you really have to do, because Enigma in that jungle can just really flash farm.
Yeah. I also love this middle lane. Just the fact we've got Arsat and Havors together. It's easy to set up someone with the Chaos Ball. It doesn't matter if it's 1 second or not. It's more than enough time to deal that extra damage to Geo, and you can bring him down before that Cold Snap really hits. And we already see Geo trying to force Chaos Knight off the lane, and it's only because he knows the support's gone. Looking for that 2-minute rune, and he finds it as well. Jakiro with an Invis, already looking at Geo, and he's kind of hoping that Melk's going to be pulling in towards that mid lane, but it's not going to happen. Melk hasn't started off at all doing that. He just wants the entire farm. No denial towards the middle happening. That creep wave is, well, it's already, the creep camp's already spawning because he had to de-ward it. But there's no extra support coming towards that middle lane, Melk being a rather selfish Enigma. Yeah, EG for the time being just happy to play these lanes as sort of conservative as possible. They've got BDs using the creep pools at the bottom lane and Melk just farming away. And in sense, Fear just having this sort of solo lane against the Lich. Lich already getting close to the level 3 because of the sacrifice, being able to pull that creep wave back, making his time so much easier. It is kind of crazy that this lane is possible. It's something you don't prepare for. It's something that Fear would not be prepared for. And we see what level 3 Lich up against a level 3 and almost 4 for Fear on Sven.
Yeah, it's Na'Vi just making sure they have an offlane here who can get farm and XP. Windrunner against this strong dual lane and an Exort Invoker would have just been punished. Same goes for heroes like Beastmaster. You can stack the Ancients, but if you're level 1, 5-6 minutes in, you're really struggling for Na'Vi. Na'Vi want to make sure all 5 heroes can contribute in some way.
At this point, I am still worried about Na'Vi's advantage. Like, we're seeing EG, it's only a small amount of gold and a very small amount of experience being denied. The power of Enigma inside the jungle is just moving way too fast. Where the pull-up from beat is, which means now Light of Heaven completely lost control of this bottom lane. And this was always bound to happen. There's no way to really stop this. But we're not seeing any kills coming out from this dual lane. The middle lane, Geo's been very, very defensive and very, very safe and secure up against this Havors as well as Jakiro. Invis Rune never really found the opportunity for it. Puppey, he's going down river, but he's always got support up here. But it's Demon who's going to be the man who has to be caught out in my mind. This middle lane, Geo is just looking so ready for everything about to happen. Puppey, I think, is sneaky about coming up towards Denny and just saying hello by tethering in.
Well, Demon needs to be careful. He actually hasn't got mana for a surge here, and Jakiro on his way. So there we go. Demon gets just enough mana, and he's going to surge his way out of here. But this has not been fun for Demon. Puppey's just been zoning him out of the lane as well as possible.
Gank time, yeah. Bottom lane. Smoke going to come in, and Light of Heaven. There is nothing you could do against this. Disruption, Catcher, Sven is here, lets off the stun, combining up with the Maleficent stun as well, and First Blood is built by Fear. Such a passive hero. Such a passive hero. At the same time, Havors initiating on Invoker, Dual Breath as well. Not enough damage to finish them off, but the Ice Path, maybe there is enough time to do it. Yes, there is. Jakiro gets an answer back in the middle lane. It's still a 1-for-1 trade, and EG, they won't stop in this bottom tower. You said wait for Enigma level 5. It came out a little bit earlier at 4.
Yeah, the smoke around from beat is really making sure EG get that first blood, but the retaliation comes at mid. As soon as they know that Enigma's at bottom lane, not going to be backing up the Invoker at mid, they can get really aggressive, dive the tower for Geo, and that's something which Na'Vi say, well look, they've just gone us at bottom, mid lane is a guaranteed kill, even under the tower, there's just not enough survivability of the Invoker.
Now Light of Heaven has to deal with EG, who are still not falling back, they continue to go. They don't want to stop him. Melk's got Soul Ring, so they never have to stop. There's always an army of conversions to give that damage against the tower. And Light of Heaven, this is the problem with passive lanes. You can't do anything. Fear's right next to him. Lets off a Storm Bolt. Needs to be extra support coming in from Melk. Looking for that Maleficent stun. Gets it too. It's going to be a secondary kill in the bottom lane. DP support's coming in, and they're a long way over. Puppey's the first one to come in. Looking for Melk. No one's rotating in through the middle lane, or maybe there is. It's Arsat with the Ice Path. They're looking for Melk, and Melk trying to stand his ground. Captain, or I say ex-captain, going up against the current captain of Na'Vi. Tether straight through him. Arsat teaming up together. And that's a solo kill out in the Melk. They defend their tier 2 tower, but again, they lose the Lich.
Yeah, they're happy to give away, Melk happy to give away his own life to ensure that the rest of his teammates get out of there. Havors going to try to rotate towards bottom lane. Haste rune though, beat is. No chance in hell of getting that kill. And Havos, decent farm to start things off, but the tower's going the way of EG. At least the tower, one singular tower, is enough to give them a nice early game lead and something which they can work with. They can look to push down more towers soon, get Enigma that level 5, level 6 now in the jungle, but he's got another smoke, so we're going to see another gank coming out from Malk very soon, I think. Maybe he tries to get the level 6 black hole first, though.
Yeah. There's definitely going to be something he needs if he wants to go for the big ones. Like, if we want to keep on ganking up Line of Heaven, that's not a problem. You only need the Malk for stuns and a little bit of extra support from your Sven. But if you're going after Horst, if you're going to try and go up the top lane up against Dendi, who, just looking at his farm, Darkseer Demons managed to pick up 14 for nil, but Dendi is walking around with 49 for 28. If he kind of, at this point, wishes he had another point up in the Necro Mastery so he could have the full max souls. But even his right clicks a Demon, Ray's a little bit too short there, but right click, Demon drops, looks like 8 clicks from Dendi, and that'll be the death of Demon. He's hiding inside the trees. There's no back to pull him out of here. He's going to try and TP. Puppy, got to get the other side, gets a tether in time. Demon's going to be locked. One raise, right click again. And looks like there is a path to get back out of there.
Wow, I thought he was trapped in there as well. Demon TPing out is not going to work against that Wisp tether. And NAVI, I mean, you mentioned Dendi with this insane amount of farm. He hurts against this Darkseer. Darkseer just not enough damage.
Gio's gone.
Oh,
now
dear.
we see Line of Heaven rotating out, looking for kills. Moving in, Arsar came at the last point to get the last right click in. And a Vorce gets denied, but another kill now in the middle lane.
EG are ready to try take it to NAVI. Now they've just hit this level 6 on the Enigma. He's got the black hole, he's got a smoke up. They want to try find some openings, but he wasn't going to be there in time to help Jo out of the mid lane. Aggressive ward on the high ground from NAVI. Both teams with a ward hovering around this mid lane, but that's going to help out NAVI more. It's on their opponent's side. They can see any heroes coming in. They can spot up Malk in this jungle nearby the mid lane, and it's going to really make it hard for EG to find those kills near mid.
Well, NAVI is looking for a kill up on top. They want to dive this and get Demon out. That's why the Ice Path Arsar just waiting a little bit further behind, but Demon, he's a decent way up. Then he's trying to push this creep wave a little bit faster so they can combine and can dive, because if Arsar waits too long, he needs that creep wave to be in range of the tower, and now's the time to go. Demon's trying to retreat back out. It's like, hello, tether, dual breath to start with. Now going inside the trees, putting the creep wave with him. Not the best thing in the world. Ice Path and Demon, one last raise from Denny's going to get the kill. He'll pull the aggro, and there's the path the Puppy came through. That Arsar will follow him out.
Well, kills going Navi's way is really going to help them out because Puppy's quite low level because of how much he was just harassing Demon, not sharing the XP with Denny, giving Denny that solo farm. So these kills are going to help get him that level 6 as fast as possible. And this isn't really quite the same way we're used to seeing Wisp, that aggressive ganking around the map, using that CK. It's just been the Jakiro teaming up with CK. CK even left alone at mid lane. Havos just to farm. Dendy's been really just, Puppy's been really just babysitting Dendy in this top lane.
And it's working out beautifully. Dendi, we're not even 9 minutes in. We've got Blink Dagger with his agility treads already up. So initiation central for Dendi. Wherever he wants to be, he's going to be following these kills out and diving back past towers. It's going to catch people completely out of position. You might want to be surging away, but it's also a great way to reposition. So you're able to get off one, like if you've got medium raise, go nuts. Then you want to get short raise, jump straight in, get it 100%. And that's such quick burst damage that you're not going to be ready for. And of course you come in for the quick short raise, then you got the distance for all your right clicks. And we already know how much damage he does through that. We've got 4 points up in the Necro Mastery. We're looking at 72 plus 78 damage on him.
Yeah, it's going to be really have to deal with him, especially if he times his entrance to these fights. If he goes in too early, he can be burst down. Sven's gone for a fast drum of endurance, so giving the auras, getting those cheap, cost-effective items. And I think for EG, they need to strike soon. They've got this. They've got the drum. They've got the black hole for Malk. This is really their chance. They need to try find some kills somewhere on the map, or at least try pressure some towers.
Well, kill on the top lane. Demon able to juke it around inside the trees. Now to run himself away, and well, EG they are looking for a tower. It's going to be the tier 1. They're going to force it, and Arsar, maybe with an Ice Path, can slow them down. But with Warcry, they don't really want to do it. Fortification for the Dire side. And there is a lot of support coming in. Horse and Light of Heaven. Is he? Oh, man. Look for that Chain Frost. There's still a whole bunch of conversions here that will tank it up if they get close enough. But if that Ice Path hits when they're retreating back out again, then they're in trouble. But they just clear up the creep wave. The Beaters doesn't want to give this one up.
Well played by Beaters there. He scouts him out with that Shadow Poison, sees 2 or 3 heroes coming in. They knew with the Observer, but just getting the constant vision on Light of Heaven, not letting him get into position to hit off an ulti, combine that with the Ice Path. So for now, EG are going to have to play it safe. As soon as they see Light of Heaven go back bottom lane, then they're looking to pressure the tower again. They're really timing this aggression at mid lane.
And Light of Heaven now rotates back in towards the middle lane. He wants to make this most of the Invis rune that Horse has managed to pick up, while Fear initiates from the tower, and Enigma able to get the last hit with a whole bunch of conversions. And still, NAVI, they want one person to overstate their welcome, and Gio is it. Gio is right next to Havos. Thought he might have started off with a reality rift, but He wasn't sure about the support. There was an opening there he could have gone for. Now Denny and Puppey is like, well, guys, I think they can rotate up this way. It's the last remaining out of tier 1 tower. Maybe either we should move up here or just fall back. Try and defend close.
Yeah, EG happy to try. Just keep on turning this sort of, I guess, their team composition into towers. They've got the pushing power coming out from Enigma. Sven going for the cheaper items with Treads, drums up now. Invoker's only level 6, so Giro really needs to just spend more time at mid lane. This is going to be more a 4-1 split from EG. Sven looks to help out the team, buy space for Giro to catch up on those levels, catch up a bit in terms of farm, because he's struggling having faced that tough dual lane in the mid lane.
Yeah, like what's he walking around with? Level 6 right now and phase boots. He's got a bracer in his inventory, but that's basically summary of items right there. He needs an amazing, amazing kill. And he's going to move with Beaters as well as Malco currently smoked up, and they're going to look towards that bottom lane. Again, Line of Heaven, his easiest kill on the map to try and get, but at the same time, we've got to remember that Lich ultimate, throw it out, and also remember what happens if Malc wants to get that black hole off. If Lich ultimate's managed to get cast and it flies out, there is that stun that comes with it, and Malc could find himself with the shortest black hole of his life.
Oh yeah, and Fear trying to just time this entrance in on Line of Heaven. TPs will be coming very fast from NAVI. I'm pretty sure if they try going in and just dropping the ultimate, they have to kill him before he casts the ultimate, otherwise his fight can't be turned around.
He's going to be back to the range of the tower. There's Malphus. Now we can throw out the ultimate. TP's support's coming in. He will die in time. Yes, Fear. There's your black hole. Instantly holding Denny in position. And Wisp, he brought in a Vortex, who also got caught in the black hole. Reactor of Denny on low life. Tornado will kill him when he drops to the deck, which he does do so, but the remaining ultimate helping to do the damage on Fear. There's that Lich Ultimate, Line of Heaven, buying back into the game, and it bounced back into Demon as well, then back up to Demon. Huge chunk of damage. They want to finish this kill. Purge out, but then pull back out again. Demon will get the kill. The Beaters will be finished off, or maybe not. Disruption, Ice Path. Oh, nicely done from Arsar, but they're not finished just yet. They're looking for Demon, but he is going to surge himself away as fast as possible, but they're going to try and cut him off. They're going to cut him off as a pass. We're going all classic Western style, but you try and chase down a Darkseer. It is not an easy thing to do, and Puppey's going to find him. And Demon might even turn to think about going for Puppey, but decides not to. Straight up towards the top lane.
I reckon Na'Vi saw that coming. They knew that Lich was a high chance that he's going to get ganked. They have one hero ready to TP, and then they have the Wisp and the Chaos Knight using that Wisp relocate to just counter gank Na'Vi. Malc thinks he has a big black hole on the TPing in hero, but in reality, behind him is coming the Wisp and CK, and they just do too much damage for Na'Vi to for EG to handle. And Na'Vi, they counter gank perfectly. Havos getting just kill after kill for his team. He's now sitting on 0-0-5 now, just setting up a number of kills. And even with Dendi going down there, it's still a good fight for Na'Vi because of how well they're farming around the map.
Yeah, I love how it's Havos setting up kills for Arsar. We're going to see our carry Jakiro. So carry support. He completes up Treads and Magic Wand for 13 minutes, so possibly not the most farmed carry support ever created by man. But it's working for him. It's keeping their supports up nice and high. And while Puppey is having a little bit of fun, just double stacking 2 camps at one time, both Malc, Fear, and Beaters, and in fact also Demon, 4 heroes moving up towards that top lane. They're looking for Dendi. This Iron Shell's going to wear off. Looks like they've already managed to find out Puppey. So Fear opens up with the ultimate, but Puppey tethers up to his own creep wave, runs through the tree line. They need to get some more support here. Dendi going inside the trees. Fear trying to come and join him too. There's no black hole for Malc. Extra support's going to come in. Dendi needs to oldie this one out. In fact, one raise maybe going to be enough with the ultimate. No mech charge pops out from Malc. Gives him more than enough life, but Light of Heaven with his ultimate doing enough damage. And Arsart again looks for the kill on Malc. The burn effect's happening. Light of Heaven with the frost. Demon's going to go down right now if he's not too careful. Both Malc and Demon on Beasting of Life, they're both going to TP out hand in hand, escaping out to safety. At the same time, poor old Fear is left behind, but Line of Heaven again hiding inside the trees. The conversions are chasing him in. He's eating his way out again. 40 HP, retreating through the tree line, and looks like Geo Invis running away from a Vorse at the same time. Demon as well as Malc, they must be counting their lucky stars.
Wow, EG really playing with fire. Being this aggressive against a team with a Wisp CK, they're going in on a Shadow Fiend, they're going in on Liches, and sure, they're heroes that are easy to gank, they're vulnerable. The problem is, the counter gank from Na'Vi is just instant. Wisp can immediately bring a hero in with the relocate. Sure, Wisp wasn't in a position to do so there, but it's just so risky. You have Chaos Knight coming in, Havos just really in the right place at the right time, and Jakiro, these Ice Paths so far have been able to limit EG's aggression, and EG spending a lot of time trying to get these kills on heroes like Dendi on the Shadow Fiend. He's currently building a BKB, and this BKB once up is going to really cause a lot of problems for EG.
Yeah. And I just saw Peters on that top lane. You were commenting about his Shadow Poison before, and he did it just again. Arsar was thinking about a kill on the top lane with a Vorse, and if he came it any further, it could have been one. And look at Dendi. This is the only way he's finding his cash. This stack, man, it's
Well,
But this is what Puppey, and now even Line of Heaven's helping him out as well.
as far as cash goes, it's Na'Vi just dominating the CS charts. You've got Dendy with 120 creep kills, Chaos Knight with 80, and the highest for EG is 54. There's a huge disparity between the two teams as far as last hits go, and EG making up for that with Tower Gold for the time being.
Man, Na'Vi is just pulling so much in, and Tower Gold makes it up, but the way we can always look at Towers, it's just basically gold you haven't claimed yet. And when you have a lineup that can push at the speed that you can see, like an SF can nuke a creep wave down Phantasm, we know what can happen, especially once a Manta Style comes up. Rax don't stand a chance against that, and you've got the Liquid Fire helping you out, you've got Ice Path to cover you up, and then you can have Frost Armor in case anybody jumps in on you. Life is generally pretty good once you get to that level, but you've got to get to that level, and at this point, Sven's still 3 for 2, Fierce finding his farm, not amazing. In fact, he's 60 for 12, while Dendy, obviously he's farming up the jungle, but he's 140 CS for 42, and we're 16 minutes into the game.
Yeah, like you say, a lot of those neutrals, but some of those are big neutrals. They stack this big camp for him. Dendy is just ridiculously farmed. He's got this Mithril Hammer. We'll be seeing that BKB up in the next couple of minutes, and EG just do not have any sort of similar item growth on their heroes. They really need to fight now, because if they wait too long, Na'Vi are just going to continue to get out of control. They've gone for the fast mech on Malk, which kind of shows that they want to be aggressive now. They've been going under towers, taking fights, not going for a later game BKB Blink combo. I think EG have to keep on fighting. I just think they're waiting out for the BKB on Fear, which isn't going to be coming fast enough because of his lack of farm.
Yeah, agreed. And because they don't control this lane anymore. In fact, the bottom lane taking out that tier 1 tower is hurting them more than anything else, because Line of Heaven, he's sacrificing everything. He's pulling these creep waves back bit by bit. And because of this, he farms on top of the tier 2 tower, and Fear can't come in that close, because the second he does, Wisp TP. You got so much support that can come in at a moment's notice, and this is always the problem of Wisp. This is the reason why we're talking about Wisp. He's not powerful himself. He's powerful with the combos that are created.
Yeah, and this is, I mean, you look at Fierce CS, and it's entirely because of this Lich. In the laning stage, denying all the farm, and like you mentioned, Lich has been spending time at this tier 2 tower farming for so long. The only thing EG can maybe do to punish this is gather up 4 or 5 heroes and go for a tower push. They can't gank Lich with 2 or 3 heroes. Sure, they kill him, but the counter gank immediately comes in with Wisp +1, maybe a TP.
How about 4 heroes? Can he kill him with 4 heroes?
They can kill him with 4 heroes, but the problem is there's the counter gank. So I think EG's safest option is to just go for a push here, which is what they're doing here. They're grouping up 5 heroes at bottom lane. They'll get this tier 2 tower unless Na'Vi retaliate.
They're retaliating. Avorce is already in. Disruption. Nice black hole. 2 caught in, but there's the Lich Ultimate going to bounce around, cancelling off instantly. Avorce, 1 charge, is able to get that Phantasm off. They're going to find the real one. He's opening up, and actually it's Fear killing off Avorce. Puppey already dying very quickly, and they take the tier 2 tower. Dendy's on the run back at it, and again, Shadow Poison keeping a very close tab on the retreating Na'Vi.
This is what EG need to do. They need to take the fight now. Na'Vi is a team that you can't give space to farm when they're already in such a good position as far as items go. Fear, sure, he hasn't got BKB, but he can just do wonders. Even with just a second channel off that black hole, they did enough damage during that. They've got the follow-up from Demon with the Vacuum, the Iron Shell damage, and Invoker. At this point, level 9, the Tornado EMP can really hurt a lot of these Na'Vi heroes. Chaos Knight, especially with a low mana pool, can really suffer against a Quas Wex Invoker.
The one thing I'm concerned though, like EG, that was a great fight for them. That was absolutely fantastic. But I'm still looking at the big level difference. I cannot stop looking at this experience graph, which is so different to our gold graph, just because the towers have been claimed. But it's 7,000 experience in favor of Na'Vi. So even though EG win this fight and they get a good chunk of experience from that, where's it all go to? Like, how much are we still looking at coming in for Na'Vi?
Yeah.
The levels are coming up. Shadow Fiend's already got level 2 ultimate. He's almost maxed out the presence of the Dark Lord. Just one more point in that little sucker. And we're looking at an insanely strong Shadow Fiend. 12 points up on Chaos Knight. Already 2 points up in that crit. 2 points up in Phantasm. He's insanely strong, especially when combined up with that Wisp. How do you try and deal with this?
Well, those 2 heroes is basically what Na'Vi are banking on, because Na'Vi essentially have 3 support heroes here going into the late game, which 3 support heroes who don't offer a huge amount as far as crowd control and AoE teamfight. Sure, Jakiro is great, but the later the game goes, he's not going to be doing a huge amount of damage or having an impact on the teamfight as much as an Enigma does, or a Darkseer. And for them, that's something which Na'Vi have to be wary of. Their late game, sure, they've got 2 heroes out farming EG, but their 3 support heroes are not the best late game supports.
I'm kind of seeing right now what EG always love to do. We see it with so many Svens. What do you do when you have a Sven that's falling a little bit behind everybody else? Massively stack up a crap ton of Ancients. Stack up every single possible camp you can do. At this point, we've got 2 sets of Golems, in fact 3 sets of Golems, as well as one set of the Lizards. And when Fear moves over there, after his BKB is done, which is only 100 gold away now, still needs the Mask of Madness to be effective, and he hasn't put any points in Cleave whatsoever.
Yeah.
So until he gets that, he can't really make the most of these Ancients. But when he does, we get a massive, massive boost. And if he wins any kind of team fight and then comes and picks that up, the gap will just get massive, and Fear will then be the most powerful man during the fights. Both Vorst and Denny can do absolutely nothing against him then.
There'll be sort of a 5-10 minute window where EG are just going to be untouchable in these team fights because of Fear. He gets his first point in Cleave. Now, interesting that EG have been fighting a lot and they haven't been going for that Cleave build early on. A lot of Svens have been sort of mixing it up with 2 or 3 in Warcry, 2 or 3 in Cleave, and I think he could have benefited a bit more from having some early points there because of how much EG have been diving under towers, taking these tough fights, and having that extra spill damage will help him out. He will have it now. Coming up soon, and he needs that to deal with these Ancients. And NAVI, well, they have it around the Roshan pit. They want to take this. Dendy has snuck his way in there, and it looks like EG, they're not responding immediately. They are grouping up around the mid lane, and I think they're not really anticipating this Roshan, at least not right now.
Oh, now they just saw Vorst run in. They've got to be anticipating. He already left the Chaos Ball, and he's going to pray that EG doesn't initiate in the next 6 seconds. And I'm wondering if Arslan just remain outside, use the ice path, lock him out. There's that Shadow Poison scouting out again, but Roshan is basically dead. EG, they can't get in there in time to stop it, and Shadow Fiend is killed by the Dire. SF is the one who takes the Aegis, the Immortal, and EG, they back off.
Well, EG, this is not a good sign for them, having an unkillable SF at this point in the game. Blink, BKB, Aegis now as well on Dendy, and NAVI can try to start pressuring some of these Tier 1 towers, these invested gold, which they haven't yet taken.
Well, they're going to try on the Tier 1 tower, but they're going to get a very, very quick surprise. Probably the main reason why EG didn't want to fight that, Fear wasn't there. Fear was back at base picking up his BKB. Wasn't letting the courier deliver it for him, so he went all the way back to base. Vorst is already checking out, just using that haste rune to scout up on the high ground, because he also picked up the regen rune from the top. So he's feeling very, very happy.
And look at all this just map control around the Roshan pit, around the mid lane. Nami have Sentry Wards absolutely everywhere. I mean, sure, it's useful against the Invoke, but more than anything, they want to deny EG of any vision, make it hard for EG to find pickoffs. Even just landing a Tornado EMP can be crippling for Chaos Knight, but without vision onto the high ground, having that Sentry Ward there to make sure making sure EG cannot see them wherever they're at, makes it really hard for EG to defend these towers if they can't hit those pre-fight Tornado EMPs.
They're completely split up, so they can't actually get hit by it anyway. Heroes looking at the top, Heroes looking at the bottom, and Na'Vi realize this is a stalemate. They fall out, we go back to stacking, we go back to farming. Vorst goes up towards the top lane where there's a decent creep way for him to farm. And he'll be happy to take all of it. It's going to be a lot of money for him. And Denny back into farming up the jungle. He got Blink BKB done up on Denny for 24 minutes in. And having that Aegis the Immortal. And still having another 2.1k in his bank account. So much for him. Geo, we look at him, and we got Invoker with 4 staff and a Bracer. Beatties at least has the Urn. Darkseer. Is that a full... Yeah, that's actually a full pipe now out for Demon. He's got some really amazing farm.
EG's time to strike is coming soon. With the BKB on Malk just, what, 600 gold away? Pipe about a couple hundred gold away for Demon. So with Pipe, BKB, Enigma guaranteeing a decent Black Hole unless Lich Ultimate probably going to be saved. That's really the problem for Malk, is that this Lich Ultimate with such a long casting range is just going to be saved to make sure they can cancel the Black Hole. But regardless, a BKB is going to be up on him. Pipe and Mech is going to negate the Shadow Fiend damage ultimate. So Na'Vi could be finding themselves having to avoid teamfights for a period of time.
Well,
very
again,
soon.
have we actually even seen SF pop an ultimate apart from in death? I don't think I've seen a single time when Denny's let it rip.
Yeah. It's going to be tough for EG. They're trying to defend this bottom lane. They've actually got 5 heroes positioned here. Dendy on the front lines, but he's with BKB Blink. There's no way you can kill him. Even if you pop the Aegis, he can blink out after he respawns, and EG know that it's most likely a trap. There's going to be heroes just sitting behind him, keeping him alive.
Well, he keeps getting Frost Armor, so there's definitely someone else behind him. And a Vorst and Wisp just keep on pushing out the other lanes in the meantime. Even Poppy's starting to de-ward while he's in the neighborhood, may as well.
Yeah.
But he can bring her Vorst in at a moment's notice.
EG are just playing blind. They have not got any wards up at the moment. Beatties does have a couple on his hero, but he's just stuck at this bottom lane, sitting behind this tower. They can't move out, and this is really the problem. EG are being very limited with their movement around the map. They're having to stick to their towers, stick together. They can't push out the lanes. They can't get down offensive wards or wards on the other side of the map unless they push out the lanes, something which they're just struggling to find the opportunities to do.
Waiting for Wisp just to jump in behind this tier 1 tower. EG are trying to set up the trap. But they've got the problem that Fear is going to have to TP in. And the instant TP that basically comes from the Wisp ulti when Na'Vi are happy to initiate. Something they won't be able to deal with. But it looks like Na'Vi are also, well, they don't want to force it too much. They almost it's like they want EG to move away from the tower. And EG have no desire to do that at all.
They know one one misplace Wisp ulti with the Chaos Knight can lead to disaster. The mech, the pipe can keep EG alive, and the Black Hole can just turn it around very quickly. If Lich can't get in there immediately to cancel with an ulti, if Wisp and CK TP too far in, then the fight gets turned around. Even if the Lich ulti comes in, just 1 second, maybe 1.5 seconds of a channel Black Hole can just turn for disaster for Navi.
This is the time. Tethering got to go. The EMP Tornado, and that's going to be the BKB. Phantasm as well. They're looking for Geo, but he 4-stamps away, and then straight on top of Belk. He can get that Black Hole off. Maybe you can, maybe you can't. He's trying to limp himself away, and it actually is Fear with his own BKB. Tether is there, but it will be her force going down, and Puppey, he ulties out, but I'm going to tell you, Puppey, you got to come back. They did take the tier 1 tower in the bottom lane. The Puppey will return in 3, 2, 1. It's over, man. Nail him. Dead. Fear with a double kill.
And this is just the power of EG's items right now. The mech, the pipe kept Malk alive, even without casting a Black Hole, just not giving that kill to EG. They turn it around with the TPs in. Na'Vi do take the bottom tier 1 tower by the looks of things, and they're going to try just making trades wherever possible. Sure, they lose the Chaos Knight Wisp mid lane, but it's Dendi getting more farm, continuing to accelerate. He's going to have that match set up very, very soon. And for Na'Vi, it's just this late game strategy with the Chaos Knight and Shadow Fiend, which they're trying to use as well as possible. For EG, it's all about this big team fight.
I love the fact that we've got BDS already on the mark now, looking for any kind of warding from Na'Vi, but most of their wards have already timed out. They've only got one left on that lane, up on the high ground watching the Ancient stack, and one on the bottom lane watching the transition into that bottom lane. We said 11 for 11, and what you're talking about team fight too, just realized too, Mel, BKB? BKB coming up on him, so maybe another reason why he didn't want to pop that Black Hole during that engagement. Thought, you know what, we've still got this, we're not going to get more if I pop this Black Hole, and BKB Black Hole to follow up directly after, a lot more important. And
here's your Mask of Madness for Fear. He's going to maybe come deal with this Ancient stack very soon. He has got 3 points in the cleave, more than enough to take this out with an ultimate. And Demon going to keep on stacking it. Beat his D wards it. This is the beauty of winning that fight, or at least getting those 2 kills at mid lane. It's given EG opportunity to get back some map control. They're the ones now with Sentry wards all down the river, D-warding whatever Na'Vi put up. They've got wards around the middle lane as well as the bottom river, and Na'Vi now can't really contest that Ancient stack. They don't know when Fear's going to try and do it. They're playing a lot more blind, and Na'Vi going to be slightly more discomfortable as a result of this.
Yep. And EG. Everyone in the middle lane. They really want to force the middle lane down to a tier 2 tower. But again, Puppey and CK, they push out an off lane. They're still getting more farm. Every single time EG group up like this, they're still giving advantage to Na'Vi. Even if they take this tier 2 tower in the middle lane, we've still got farm happening on the top lane. We've still got the possibility for a couple of kills. No advantage has ever been given to EG as far as gold and a large amount of experience during these engagements. It keeps on heading down and down and down. Now, Dendi's really thinking about blinking and BKB. Maybe one race, thought about it for a moment, held it out, and the tier 2 tower goes down.
And look at this from Dendi, going for a Desolate. He wants to just be able to rip through these heroes when they pop BKB. He knows he can't rely on magic damage. He wants additional minus armor. And with that, I mean, Sven, he has got the Warcry, which does give a bunch of bonus armor, but he's going to try and negate that as much as possible with the Aura combined with a Desolate and just some big right-click damage.
And that's going to be a very, very quick dead Sven. Not even just Sven. Go through anybody, be Enigma, be a Demon, doesn't really care as long as he can get those kills down. Everyone really has enough life that they can tank up most, apart from BDS. BDS is just flimsy. He'll go down pretty damn fast if Denny ever finds him open. But Denny needs to finish up the recipe money. He needs to get to that 1200 or else we're not going to see that Desolator. He doesn't have enough item slots to accommodate it. Maybe one Mithril Hammer and that's all. So Na'Vi needs to stall a little bit of time until he's ready. But at the same time, what are we seeing for Revorce? He's actually got full, not full heart. Yeah, that would have been amazing. He's got a Reaver. So Reaver now for 30 minutes into the game. Not absolutely amazing for Revorce. In fact, he's a long way behind where he'd normally be with this. But the Desolator's up for Dendi. We've got tank ability for Chaos Knight, sitting at 2.4k worth of life. Light of Heaven, level 2 ultimate for him now. And looks like Na'Vi, they just want to go. They got smoke on Puppey, but they're not even waiting for him. Radiant's got Sentry, was looking for it anyway.
Yeah, and EG, I mean, they're smoked up. They're looking to go down this mid lane. Fear's picked up his Crystals. He's going to start building up that crit. And he's sort of just staying on par with the Chaos Knight and Shadow Fiend. And that's really the big difference between the two teams as far as carries go. Na'Vi have the 2 strong ones with both Shadow Fiend and Chaos Knight. Chaos Knight can provide the frontline tank for the Shadow Fiend so he doesn't get focused down too fast. For EG, it's all about the Sven come late game as far as carries go, but EG have the better supporting crew. They have got the Black Hole, they've got the Darkseer Vacuum Wall, and even Invoker, come late game, he can provide a great toolbox of skills as well.
And Assad, he's really defensive on that high ground. Then he's blinking out looking for anybody. Would love to find one hero out of position. Beat is. Already got the one more for the Radiant side. Would have seen that smoke. Would have definitely seen that smoke. The pings are coming out from Puppey, asking him to go over down that lane. And it's going to come in pretty nicely. Beat is, Sentry Ward. Sentry Ward placed. But then again, they've got to be close enough to reveal, and that's close enough. There's the ball. Beat is around the corner. Melk with the BKB. Looking for that black hole. Danny winding up with the elbow, but pull back into the black hole. The black hole over cancelled off by Melk. And Sasha Gray, he's in the middle as a boss trying to live in fear with a double kill. It's just too much. Look at that right-click damage on a horse. He wants out again. There's the Ice Path. TB out by Assad, but already triple kill. Right-click one. Stormbill. Ultra kill for Fear. And EG. 10 Navi, a new one, and Beadiz wraps up for a full team wipe. And that's going to be him picking up Puppey further down. This is possibly Rax.
The power of map control there. The ward spotting out the smoke. EG knew exactly where they were coming from. Set up the central and had the observe ward placed just a bit later, even though Navi was already on top of them. That bottleneck choke point just set up Malk for a great black hole. Even with it getting cancelled immediately, it just made it impossible for Dendy to do anything in that team fight. He doesn't have the survivability. Dendy was practically on the front lines.
Yep.
And EG now going to find themselves, like you say, possibly getting a set of Raxes at just 32 minutes in. They've been behind slightly all game as far as gold goes, but this hero composition of theirs can win any team fight in a location like that.
Yeah, that's what Puppey would call a drastic change in the gold graph, man. Straight up in the air, and there goes your melee. Maybe they can think about fighting this. Puppey hitting with a couple of Wisp Spirits, Assad, a little bit of an Ice Path, Light of Heaven, still thinking about it, but then we have Warcry, we have Pipe, they retreat back out again, even an EMP Tornado just in case someone was looking to follow it through any further. And that is now bottom rack's gone, and Roshan is also up. EG might just pick it while they're walking past. Nope. But Navi might do it instead. And that might give them what they need to get back into this. Because right now, even though Navi were ahead, with that bottom rack's gone down, they're crippled. They're really crippled. They'd
love an Aegis on Dendy at this point in this game. He's just struggling to stay alive. He can get burst down immediately in a black hole in just the right-click damage from the Shadow, from the Sven. And as a result, he needs to have an Aegis. He needs to have that second life. During that respawn time, his team can try buy him some space to get back into the fight. The problem for Na'Vi is they only have one hero who can really sustain himself in the fight in Havos on the Chaos Line. Apart from that, they've got Dendy, who's just a glass cannon, and then 3 squishy support heroes. The composition for Na'Vi just doesn't match up to what EG have to offer.
Man, another time Na'Vi have taken Roshan without EG even being able to stop him. It
comes down to some fantastic timing.
Yeah, fantastic timing and just fast damage. Fast damage coming out from Dendy. Because you're combining up that Deso, or you're going to add a little bit of Frost into it all. Whatever else you need, you've basically got that damage.
Well, here we go for EG. Having taken down that Rax, has won a big team fight. They're going to have a big level of items being stepped up now. Sven going to finish off his Daedalus. He's going to have that completed entirely. Malk, what's he got? He's got 1k gold. Nothing too much as far as progression from him, but Jo, he's just about finished off his Sheepstick. His Scythe of Vice is just 500 gold away.
This is a huge, dangerous time for Na'Vi. But if Na'Vi can find that quick opening, and really, if you look at that last engagement, Na'Vi got team wiped because they went into a trap. It was a full-ass trap. You knew, we could see it coming, but Na'Vi couldn't. The wards were perfect, they knew what was happening, and then all of a sudden, Melk is there with a BKB black hole going, who can I take out? There's no blink for Melk. He had to have some kind of advantage like that map control to give him that level of black hole, to catch out those 2 core heroes. But if that doesn't happen again, Na'Vi will start tearing through EG, and they will push straight back again. Their problem for Na'Vi, however, is they have to win 2 team fights. Because we've got tier 2s and tier 3s, tier 1 even still up in that middle lane. Where Na'Vi, they've got 1 tier 2 tower left out on the top lane. Everything else is, well, bottom is completely gone anyway.
It's going to be a long, bumpy road for Na'Vi to come back in this game, and something that's just going to be, frankly, very difficult when you've got such a squishy lineup going into the late game against huge DPS coming out from Fear. Heroes like Invoker, Darkseer, Enigma, their teamfight potential is just going to really cripple Light of Heaven, Arsat on the Jakira, as well as Puppey on that Wisp. These 3 heroes just cannot have solid contributions come late game time, and EG, they pick up the Sheepstick now. They're going to have just some crazy item progression now. The only thing coming Navi's way is going to be the Heart of Tarask on Havos. He's also level 16 now. We will see the big ultimate doing a lot of damage, and that's one thing that they can use to try get damage through the BKB of Fear, damage through the BKB on Enigma. They just have to make sure Black Hole gets cancelled as fast as possible.
Yep. But that's a lot easier said than done. And now there's a lot of support coming in to stop NAVI from pushing out this middle lane. There's already 4 heroes sitting back behind that tower, and fortification also being used. Enigma going to come up and take care of the creep wave momentum. And we've got sentry wards again. It's amazing how many wards have been used in this game. I kind of wish that was one stat which was visible inside of Dota 2. Unfortunately, it's not. But the line's already been drawn, and that was actually drawn by Demon. They're not going to come out past this line, so we're going to go past that if you want to find NAVI. They're saying exactly on that part too. Everyone's just grouping up, making sure at least the Force getting a little bit more farm so he can finish up that heart finally, which now he does, and he buys out completely for this. No buyback available for him.
Yeah, it's all or nothing for NAVI at this point. They can't afford to hold back. If they have to use buyback to keep themselves in the fight, it's just a losing tactic because it means EG are winning fights, EG are getting further and further ahead, and for NAVI, they just have to buy out whatever they can on the Shadow Fiend, whatever they can on this Chaos Knight at this point in the game, and EG smoked up, sitting behind Fear at top lane, something NAVI most likely expect, but whether or not they can deal with it is going to be the big question. The tier 2 tower likely to drop uncontested, NAVI just trying to go for what trade they can at the mid lane.
Yeah, and this can be Horst and Poppy taking out the tier 1 tower in the mid. The fortification's already down, but EG, they've taken out that tier 2 and they'll keep on going. So it is going to be a tier 2 for a tier 1, and NAVI going to try and successfully defend. Poppy is going to have to ulti Horst in there. It's the only way he's going to get back in time. Light of Heaven caught in his heels. Denny trying to walk as well. He's got no TP, and maybe fortification forced out by NAVI. Not happening just yet. The Wisp Spirits, and it's going to be Horst is jumping in behind. He wants Fear if he can lock him down, but at the end of the day, he cannot do it. Now Enigma starts off with the Malefice. BDIS wants to follow up as well. A little bit of Shadow Poison. Fear, Stormbolt goes out and Sasha Grey, and that's Horst hiding on the high ground. Poppy again. Oh, Reality Rift, it broke. He's still going to go with Disruptions. Now Disruptions on cooldown. Not what BDIS wanted to do, and I think that's a freak out just then.
The hardest part for NAVI here is they want to have the CK and the Shadow Fiend, these heroes with BKBs on the front lines. They have to keep Lich as far back as possible to keep him alive, but they also need Lich close enough to cancel the Black Hole when the Shadow Fiend does get Black Hole.
Trouble, there's the Hex already going out, Horst back in again. It's a lot of damage from Fear. Phantasm now pops off. They can return some damage, but Fear just goes beyond godlike. Puppy will die from the fall of the tornado. So Geo picking that one up, and looks like Dendy disrupted up. We're going to have more Dendys trying to attack him, and the Cold Snap making it even harder for him. Arzab wants out, and Dendy, he's almost dying to this right now. Combining up that Cold Snap with already the Disruption Illusions. Fear wants back in again, looking for a stun. Light of Heaven will give him the mech charge, but this wall is still available. Arzab wants that Ice Path, might have to use it. Denny tries to blink away from the stun. Not possible. They've got to hold this top tower. They cannot lose another Rax here, NAVI. One race, not going to happen. Hex from Geo, Cold Snap, Deafening Blast. No follow through because Arzab got it absolutely perfect. Dual Breath onto 4, in fact 5 in the end. And holding them out.
And Dendy just forced to just hold his ground. Despite how low he is, he knows he's got this Aegis and he does not want to give EG up this Rax. They've lost the tower already, but EG, they're playing this cautiously. Fear on the front lines doesn't have his BKB up.
Yeah, he's going to be really cautious. Dendy with 2 right clicks already doing a lot of damage, but that Purge slowing down Dendy. He wants to hold the line. How long we got before that Aegis? Actually, the Aegis is going to be reclaimed in about maybe 20 seconds time. And this is troublesome for Dendy, because if EG just keep this push going, and maybe they don't know. They might not have the calculation up.
They'll spot it out soon. And the other problem for NAVI is they've just lost a tier 4 tower. They haven't been defending and pushing out this bottom lane. This bottom lane has just been coming in, chipping away these tier 4 towers, which the longer this game goes can cause NAVI some problems, as they really need to focus on pushing out these lanes. Something they can't do when they've only got 2 heroes capable of doing that in the Shadow Fiend and Chaos Knight. And it's really just about, for EG, it's just about applying continual pressure, not giving NAVI a chance to breathe. Once they're ready to go, once they have their buybacks, they just sort of backed off now to regroup, get those items up, which they sort of haven't really had a chance to buy while they've been pushing, and they're going to go at NAVI very, very soon, especially as soon as they realize Dendy no longer has Aegis.
Yeah, so no Aegis for him, but he's starting to build up his Daedalus, and he's 1 recipe away. And the wonderful thing for Dendy, he can at least farm from inside his own base. Doesn't have to be too fearful of that. The downside for him, everyone else is looking for that farm. Light of Heaven stealing some, Arzar stealing some, and Dendy comes in and says, well, can you leave at least 1 for me? Not possible. And Puppy might just stop and say, guys, give Dendy farm. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Pause and resume.
Well, NAVI ready to go, but the question is, where do they go? There's just nothing they can do. They're really stuck on their side of the map. If they go for a smoke gank here, they have to worry about the bottom lane pushing in once again. They have to spend so much time pushing this out.
Maybe an opportunity. No, not possible. I thought maybe Arzar's timing would have been perfect to come down for an Ice Path and hold Fear in there, and a Horst would have opened up on his ass. But it wasn't possible at the end of the day. Wondering too if Dendy's going to finish up. Like, what does he finish first? He's gone the crit. Might just leave the crit and go to Mana Star.
Well, he's had this Yasha for as long as I can remember. He got that before the Desolator, so he's quite happy just to sit on the Yasha. The Manta style just not a good item against the Sven because he just cleaves through those illusions instantly. It's more against the single target disables. You can dodge stuns like a Vengeful Spirit, like a Chaos Knight, but there's nothing really in the game that he needs to be dodging with that Manta style. Sven can just cleave through illusions, so decides the Yasha on its own a cost-effective item. He just wants to get up as much single target DPS as possible to rip through the BKB right-click dealers like the Sven, as well as the heroes like Enigma, who's just going to try pop BKB, get off a Black Hole. If Denny's not caught, he can kill that Enigma in just a couple of seconds.
Oh, there's a little bit of a stack right now. Assault Cuirass fully done on Sven. Using the Mask of Madness, he's getting a little bit of help as well from Demon walking around with that Vlad's. Hasn't finished up his Aghanim Scepter yet, but he's starting to build it. And 250 gold away, 2,500 gold away for that. And Fear, 2 clicks and crit wave's gone. This is going to be dangerous for Navi to stop, but it's another damage-dealing item. Of course, the Assault Cuirass is going to help him as far as armor goes, but we know what Denny's build is for. It's meant to go straight through that and smoke up from Navi. They got their own sentry wars. They're hoping that someone's going to come in a little bit too close, and a Vorst can jump in through the rear, but then Radiant, they've got their own sentry wars a little bit further down. They're looking for a Vorst behind.
They're expecting this smoke around more than anything. They've got sentry wards, also observer wards on the high ground hill, so they will see those heroes smoked up if they have it over there, and there's no way Navi can really come around from the side. Vorst, he's not aware of this. He's going to maybe walk into, once again, a trap planted by EG. EG have just used some fantastic strategical decisions throughout this game, and Navi paying the price.
Yeah, EG, what? We said they couldn't play like they did in the group stages, and they're not. They're not. They're actually getting coordination. They're playing really, really smart, and they're playing to their strengths, and they're pushing Navi in, and now Alacrity up on Fear. Let's make him attack even faster now. And Arsat, stunned, tried to go, and they're just going to force down the racks. Frost is there, Denny moving up, and Geo completely destroyed. There's your Black Hole. It picked up a force, and there goes a Legion bouncing around, but there's 3 caught in the middle. Then we're going to go with the wall. It's already double kill for Fear, but he's being brought down bit by bit. Denny Oldie just takes out 2 more. Now moving on to Milk, but Fear is still here, and look at the damage! Ultra kill for Fear, and this is going to be a double buyback, and maybe Arsat, he picks up 2. They've lost the racks, but Denny wants to follow. Blink on cooldown, 8 more seconds, wants to chase it up. But Milk will TP out, and Demon can't do the same. But it's still a double racks against Na'Vi. But with the buybacks, they hold the line a little bit off just GG.
EG buyback right away. They want to go end the game right now. They're going to just march down this mid lane. They know that Na'Vi not ready to defend.
But they're not going to get there in
cooldown.
time. They're looking for Roshan. That's got to be it.
It's also just the timing of this. Ultimate's on cooldown. There's no Shadow Fiend Requiem of Souls for 50 seconds. No Lich ultimate for a minute. They know this is their time to strike. No Chaos Knight ultimate for 80 seconds. So by buying back, they're going mid while it's not so much about Na'Vi being alive. It's about Na'Vi not having these ultimates, these key spells to defend. The only reason Na'Vi come close to staying alive there, they lose their racks as they get a couple of kills at cleanup, but EG are going to get an Aegis, and then they're going to march down middle lane while Na'Vi are just not ready to defend.
Puppey trying to be a bit of a twit right now. Arsar can also make life a little bit more of a living hell through the Jaw Breath and the Macro Pyre. Forced out the mech, and they use the pipe as well, and they've used this before Dandy is going to arrive. Lich is here, no Alderman, Puppey, a Piglet, and a dead one of that. Getting stunned up and nailed. Arsad, again, might try and slow this down, but all he's going to do is slow. There goes Shajul Breath and the Ice Wall, and Beediz is sick of this. He wants him gone. Roshan is dead. Aegis the Immortal goes to Fear, and Demon able to pick up the cheese, and they're going to run through the bottom. Tornado catches one. A Vorst out of position, but quick BKB. But the BKB is now on cooldown.
That's the big loss there. Forces out the BKB, and while EG, they're just going to go straight down mid lane. No Chaos Knight BKB. Going to make it so much harder for him to initiate in. Spells just like Malefice at this point. Stunning the Chaos Knight 3 times in succession can cause him so many issues, and Fear just going to pelt away at this mid tier 1 tower, and he is just going to get through this in just a matter of seconds with the Invoker damage being applied to him as well from the Alacrity.
Yeah, combine it up with his ulti, use the Alacrity, and going to go straight through the racks, maybe, a little bit of Frost. They're looking for the stun, gets on Arsar, but Fear mans up, tanks it up as well. BKB is still there for him, but he's wanting to let the Aegis the Immortal pop first, tries to right-click through Chaos Knight, and big leap! Ultra kill for Fear, and Vorst calls the GG. 1 cleave to kill them all. And Na'Vi are now down 1 game here.
Would you believe it? NAVI going down one game and EG just putting on a hell of a performance. The group stage team who struggled, but here they are. You put them up against NAVI and they're a team, EG, who just find a way to win against teams that on paper they shouldn't beat. But EG have what it takes. They've got this just veteran roster with so much LAN experience and everyone just played their role fantastic. EG from start to finish didn't really falter.
Yeah, it was a really amazing play from EG, and we kind of hope we'd see this Dota as well. This is amazing movements coming out from EG, and they're giving us that kind of control and that play style that we know from EG. We know they can do this kind of play, and NAVI, at the end of the day, we also know they went for something a little bit more different for their first game. We had this Lich playing on the bottom lane. We saw early towers. It didn't 100% work for them, and Game 2, it can be completely different. That's why we have best of threes. Anything can happen in one game, but best of threes balance it out.
Yeah, absolutely. And rejoining us is, of course, Draskell as well as James. What did you think? NAVI, as unexpected as possible, have gone down game 1.
I've got lots of things to say. As you know, I watched the whole game this time. First of all, it was very nice of you to try and save some League of Legends players, guys, but I don't think you quite approached it the right way. You might have annoyed them a little bit, so, you know.
Did we get in trouble for that?
Yeah, next time, let's be a little bit nicer, so we'll do that. But yeah, amazing game. MVP for me, actually, was Malk. I have to say, it's like he really didn't mess up at, like, in terms of black holes and positioning, and normally you see Wisp and Chaos Knight just kind of be able to just really cause a lot of movement and disruption in the enemy team, and NAVI had a really good early game in terms of warding and vision, but just because of that black hole, Malk was always with the team and in position that he was able to kind of maybe scare him into actually going into that. But just a pretty amazing game from EG. I said they were going to win 2-0. Draskell said they were going to win game 1 and then lose 2 games in a row. Are you still sticking by your word, Draskell?
Well, I'm just happy that part of my prediction came true. So winning 1 game for EG is definitely what I was shooting for. If they win 2, that's going to be great as well. But I think their draft was actually quite strong. They managed to pick up the Enigma really early with the Sven. And of course, Enigma's been that hero throughout the entirety of this tournament that everyone has to watch out for when you pick a hero like Sven. Because once you get the BKB up, that's one of the biggest worries that you have to really run into against special teams, especially somebody like NAVI who's very coordinated. We know that Puppy can play the Enigma if they really want to. But they didn't really have anything to lock him down during team fights as hard as they would have liked to. And on top of other things as well, their coordination was always there, and the Wisp CK just wasn't able to really run the game that I think they were expecting it to. Yeah,
and also warding by EG as well.
Yeah.
Just from about the 20-minute mark onwards was just, they really had complete just map control, and they saw the smoke, and that was a big team wipe. So
once they won that fight, it was just pretty easy from there on out for EG, because NAVI didn't have the late game heroes. They have Chaos Knight and Shadow Fiend, but their other 3 heroes couldn't contribute anything, and that's really, you can see one of the problems with that Lich in the offlane. I'm okay with the Lich offlane, but you need one of your other supports to be a hero who can sort of scale well into the late game, whether it's something like an Enigma in the jungle, or something like a Sand King, something with a bit more oomph to it. The Wisp as well as the Jakiro are just 2 heroes who come late game and just squishy supports who are just into basically 2 hard supports. The Lich late game's also hard support. They had 3 hard supports. It's not really a lineup that was going to do anything past the early game stage. Their early game just wasn't dominant enough to justify having that composition.
So what do you think about Dendi? He was sitting about 100 gold per minute higher than anyone else for the majority of the fight until eventually, obviously, the Sven caught up for Fear. But how do you feel about his performance and his kind of contributions to the fights?
I don't think he played poorly. I think he did as much as he could. I just don't think there was any opportunities or openings to go into these fights because of what EG had. They have the Darkseer there, they have the Black Hole from Malk, like you say. He was probably the MVP. He just was always in the right position. Even when it got cancelled by the Lich ultimate after a second or two, just that 1 second of channeling was enough to stop Dendi. I think Dendi, his item build, going for that rush blink dagger, because Na'Vi were never really being super aggressive using it to get it set up kills, so maybe the item choice there was something which wasn't really combining well with the playstyle from Na'Vi, but overall I don't think you can fault him for the loss.
Yeah. I was hoping they were going to do something. Go on.
How do you kind of fold him when it was EG who just played a great vision game? I think a lot of this game just comes down to one thing, and that was the warding, it was the vision, it was the prep, it was the setup. And EG got it perfect. Absolutely perfect. We didn't even need a blink dagger on Melk because he was put in the right positions because the team was positioning correctly. I don't even want to give man the match to Melk. I want to give it to the team for playing as a team. They did it perfectly. And if they do that again,
Yeah, if they do it again, NAVI can be out of the tournament. And actually, we got the lobby up, and we can already see EG are in there, ready as a 5-man team. NAVI probably got something to talk about here.
Yeah.
Haven't joined us just yet in the lobby, so we'll see when they come back.
I reckon we're probably going to have ourselves a bit of a short break before we go into game number 2. NAVI will
never
walk away
break.
and think.
We don't break here.
We always have breaks, man.
Yeah, we do.
We're all about the breaks.
Yeah. But how, you know NAVI really well, Toby, so how do you think they're going to handle this situation?
As far as handling the situation, I don't think it's going to phase them too much. Game 1, they've lost so many game 1s in best of 3s, it's not funny. They just look at it and go, well, that failed, let's go again. You can say this kind of went wrong, and there'll be a group discussion about it all, saying, okay, well, yeah, went wrong in this area, went wrong in this area. We'll just try and avoid it, but every game is different. Every game is different in their minds, so they'll just approach it, new draft, new game, no mentality behind it. It's just a game is a game. We're going to win another one. That's the way they'll look at it.
All right, I just want to ask a question. This is general knowledge, right?
Yes, polar bears do have a prison in Canada.
I know that. I write to them. I'm like, how's it going?
Do they write back?
Yeah, I think.
It's more like paw prints.
But if you channel Shadow Fiend's ulti and then use Wisp TP, that works on the other side, right? As in, while you're channeling, is it like an SK ulti? As in, can you move the Shadow Fiend while he's channeling?
No, the animation time, if you cancel it, then it stops the ultimate itself.
Yeah.
It doesn't actually
so the
like
TP
put it
will
on
cancel
cooldown.
the ulti.
Yeah, it'll stop it.
Oh, no.
You have to
It's like Fury on TP. It's pretty much the
just,
same way.
I was just thinking in my head, you know. I was like, could you do that? I could do it.
Yes, James.
You can do anything, James. You can even be the warden of the polar bear prison.
That is what I aspire to be. Okay, so anything that you kind of just want to go over in terms of last game? Anything that you just didn't like in bans and drafts, or should we talk about what's coming up next, which is the next game?
I think we've talked it over. I mean, you sort of look at what NAVI did wrong, as far as not so much did wrong, but where their weak points with the draft and how EG capitalized, being given all these big teamfight AoE heroes. The next game we'll see NAVI probably make some adjustments, go back to where they feel is their more standard style of play. And I think Toby actually just wants to go use the restroom.
Oh, is that why you needed a break?
No, not at all, James. Not at all.
Oh, we'll be here for a long while.
Yeah, we don't want forget ad breaks.
I'm
Toby's fine.
fine.
I stay at the end. Wait, I have a bottle.
For the sake of Toby, in his old age, we're going to go for a quick commercial break. I hope we have a commercial, and when we come back, I mean,
Trans is just like,
I know
crap.
you really like casting NAVI, Toby, but seriously, you know, control your bodily functions, please. We'll be back in a moment.
It's a little bit lonely down here. It's a little bit faint without you near. Without you near. It's a little bit lonely down here. It's a little bit faint without you near. Without you near. Is it wise to say while the others wait and she's contemplating you? Another passes by the door. Any other day, you just look around and all you see is gone. All you see is gone.
Welcome back to the Corsair Vengeance Cup, and we're going to be going into Game 2 of NAVI versus EG. And just to remind you, also Beyond the Summit are also streaming as well. I believe that they're doing No Tidehunter versus Absolute Legends. That's going on right now, and the winner of that will, of course, be playing Team Empire tomorrow, and the winner of this game will be playing Team Fnatic tomorrow, and that will be the semi-finals. We're starting at 2 o'clock, but I'll tell you more about that later, as the teams will be getting ready to go in just a moment. And of course, if you just joined us, EG are up 1-0, and they only need one game to knock out NAVI, who are currently the favorites for the tournament.
Without a doubt, favourites win this tournament. And most people have picked them as the one team who've been performing the best going to this. Empire have given them a run for their money on occasion, but playing with a Standard who's already proven to be more than capable of filling blow your brains role, is Empire still looks strong, but EG showing that they have what it takes to maybe be a contender as well. Up one game against NAVI, nothing to be scoffed at.
Yeah, and Drasko, looking forward to the game. It's a long day. How are you feeling?
Feeling pretty good. I want to watch EG play again. I kind of have this inkling that we could be looking at a big upset here, because when NAVI takes a loss like that, like Toby said, typically they don't get themselves too down. They're kind of like, you know what, we just played a game, we lost, not a big deal. Get into the new one with a fresh mindset, and that's what makes them champions. That's the reason why they won the first international and things like that.
But I also think because it's almost the quarterfinals, that losing here has a lot more pressure for NAVI to go out this early.
Yeah.
So I actually think they're kind of aware of that. Like, what if we go out in the quarters, a top 8 finish? Not normal to say that with NAVI, especially with a European-centric tournament with, you know, obviously players coming over from North America as well, and Canada. So looks like they're going to be in the bands and picks. So we'll send it over to you guys. Take it away, and everybody at home, enjoy game number 2.
All right, gods. So game number 2 we get to go into, NAVI versus EG. This is our quarterfinal matchup, where we are currently in the position where EG is one game up with the advantage against NAVI. And really, EG, they proved to everyone in that last game they know how to play the game of Dota, they know how to play as a team. And I think all their haters can no longer hate.
Oh, absolutely. I think that's the real crucial thing, is that they played as a team. It's something where when you're watching EG, you're used to some of those flashy plays, the individual performances coming out from players like Demon in that off lane. You got Geo in the mid lane playing some fantastic play on occasion, but that game, it just meshed together well as a team. They just laid some traps for NAVI. They really just coordinated well. You can tell when they're setting up those traps, it must take a great level of communication at LAN, something which you can see. Their veteranship is something NAVI have as well, but EG came out better in game number 1. Game number 2, we'll see how NAVI adjust. We'll see how they will look to change things up and try best EG.
Yeah, I'm wondering if we're going to see a big change in the draft, or if it's just going to be something very standard kind of thing, like let's remove the TA, let's remove the Bat Rider. First pick is going the way of NAVI, so it is in the hands of Fear, or actually it's in the hands of Puppy right now. Does he want to pick up the TA as the first pick, or the Bat Rider? Because Fear's only got one ban, so maybe ban out the Undying or ban out the Wisp right now.
I think you look to leave both in the pool, because NAVI, they use both heroes pretty well, especially the TA, something at mid which Dendi can run. And then you've got Batrider is definitely a possibility for either the mid lane or as an offlane hero, or even jungle in the jungle for Puppy. So
Yeah.
Na'Vi quite happy to leave both those heroes in the pool. Maybe if they do that, Fear maybe just says, okay, let's leave them both in as well, bans out something completely different as well, the Wisp or the Undying. Maybe those are the two heroes we look to target. Maybe even see a Sven ban from Na'Vi. It's going to be a Darkseid. Actually, this is a ban I like. This is a hero which EG are just very comfortable with. As far as Demon's heroes go, he's got his Darkseid, he's got his Batrider, and Na'Vi's got first pick, so if Batrider's left, Na'Vi snatch it up.
Yeah. That's if Fear wants to take the bait. Does he want to? Does he want to let it go? I love how both the bans, though, for Na'Vi, both directed to that off-lane hero of Demon. What are you supposed to do now? Like, he looks at the off-lane and goes, well, he would like the Bounty Hunter. Wait, no, they banned that themselves. The off-lanes, again, become the weakest lanes we look at. And now Batrider will be taken out by Fear, which means Puppy, the obvious pick is to go for the Templar Assassin. But this is Puppy we're talking about. But looks like he's going to go obvious in this one. TA is a pickup, which means Fear now has the options for the Jakiro and can look towards other lanes as well.
Yeah, this to me, EG looking at Jakiro, Sven, possibly a Wisp as their sort of strong dual lane trial lane. Two of those three heroes most likely to be picked up by EG. And, I mean, this is something which Na'Vi have to be wary of. They know it's going to be coming their way. They can prepare for this. They maybe want to pick up an offlane hero for Light of Heaven earlier on in the pool.
Yeah.
Last game they were forced into that Lich, something which I feel didn't go too much in their favor.
No.
Windrunner was in the pool, but I think they need to get that offlane hero earlier on to make sure that they have something where Light of Heaven is comfortable.
The problem they have with the offlane hero is when you get a hero like a Jakiro up against you, Light of Heaven, the power of Windrunner is to windrun yourself away. And then you get the Ice Pump with its rework, you can't run away. It puts a big wall of ice. You either go into it, get stunned, or you keep walking around with Windrun and you still have to remain in the one position and then you can run, but which time your Windrun is probably completely exhausted. So maybe different offlane kind of heroes. We have seen some teams work around with Mirana, anything with a little bit of a leap away, anything with a bit of an escape mechanism, maybe even try the classic old Queen of Pain offlane. Or something along those lines. You know the Jakiro pick was coming, and Fear took a long time, and the Sven, very, very stock kind of standard coming out from Evil Geniuses, but Puppy, he would have to be aware of this when it happened, and has to have something up his sleeve. It's got to be a lockdown on Sven, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see Faceless Void coming up very, very shortly.
It may be the time to bring something like that up. Maybe not with these second or third picks. Something that EG didn't ban out last game, probably won't ban out this game, but it's definitely a possibility, something which Havos would love to get his hands on. EG with this, something you also have to be worried about with the Sven Jakiro is going to be the Wisp as well. Maybe Na'Vi look to grab Wisp for themselves here, get the Wisp CK. Something that didn't work out last game because they didn't have enough follow-up damage. They've got the Templar Assassin, a more reliable solo mid hero than the Shadowfiend. You had to spend more time farming. Templar Assassin can get aggressive, can look to sort of find openings and get really ahead for Na'Vi. Something they love to do. They love to dive towers, get those kills early. As an afterthought, they think, okay, let's now get those towers. So Templar Assassin with a Wisp CK could really suit Navi's playstyle.
Yeah, definitely could, man. Definitely could. But it's all about Puppy making that move. He's eating into a lot of his extra time for just these two pickups. I say just these two pickups. He's still got. It's going to be the big decision between the last two on the same, depending on if he wants to go right now, say his cause, or get his offlaners. How do you want to run
Chen. Maybe even one of his signature heroes,
That's
Chen,
true.
could be picked up nice and early on. He got banned out in the second stage last game by EG, so they were worried about even when both Jakiro as well as Wisp had been picked up. They were like, well, maybe they're playing Jakiro as a solo. Let's ban out the Chen just to be safe.
There's the Void. And
I like this. It deters EG from going Enigma. Enigma would have quite likely been, if they're not going Wisp, EG are thinking Enigma with his third pick. Vengeful Spirit being picked up preemptively. You've got the swap to counter it. Also giving you the aura to help boost up the VS, boost up the Faceless Void as well as the Templar Assassin's damage.
I wonder if, because I was joking around with Arsar before we started this game, like, man, I'd like you to bring VS back. Can you just bring VS back for me? And he just gave this huge-ass grin to me and then just moved down a little bit further. I'm wondering if that was a signal. But Vengeful Spirit is definitely here. And with the Faceless Void, also, who's in the Chrono, who's not? Who do you want in there? Throw a stun, TA gets caught, swap him back out again, let him attack from outside the Chrono. And Na'Vi is only one support hero so far. Chen is still the option, and this makes it very, very hard for Fear right now. Does he ban out the junglers? Does he want a jungler himself? There goes Wisp, instant ban, not wasting any time whatsoever. But are we looking at jungler ban? Do we look at offlane ban? Can you actually take them all out?
Yeah.
Where does it stop?
I mean, you've got jungle heroes like Chen, and then on top of that, sure, EG maybe don't want to go for an Enigma of their own because you have got the Vengeful Spirit swap, but it could well be It could be Puppey on that Enigma in the jungle. He could easily play this. It's a great hero to have against both Sven and Undying. You need the lockdown to deal with the Sven. Sure, you've got a Faceless Void Chronosphere. Having an Enigma as well is fantastic, and EG say, not a chance. Ban it out even before they ban out the Chen.
Just in case. Just in cases. And Puppey is now going to look at it this way. Was he banned out against Evil Genes? Because it's the possibility for them, if Undying does go for a harder kind of role, if we see Undying on that off lane instead, going up against the Void as a solo, we have seen that slowly coming out because it's very hard to kill him off. He gets a good decay on all the heroes which are chasing him down. He's got all this extra strength. All of a sudden, you have very, very little. As I turn around, Soul Rip, you know, these chances. Brewmaster actually being banned out. So looking at an old hero of, well, actually both Demon as well as Fear.
Jo plays a lot in the mid lane. Yeah, some solo mid TA, solo mid Brewmaster has come out from EG, and it's something which they every now and then they do sort of use as their strong initiator in that mid lane. Last game, the more passive invoker, but if EG want to get aggressive, something with a Sven Undying they maybe want to do, try really force the issue around those towers, take it to Na'Vi, especially when they're playing with a more carry-dependent hero in the Faceless Void. Fast Blink Dagger on a solo mid Brewmaster could cause them some problems. They're going to ban it out. EG a couple more bans, and like you say, do you ban the offlane heroes of Light of Heaven? Do you just ban out those other supports here? I'd be surprised if they don't ban out Chen with at least one of these two heroes. It just gives Na'Vi such a strong team fight, helps keep Faceless Void as well as TA alive with both the Test of Faith sending them back to base, the heals coming out as well. Brewmother now the ban for Light of Heaven, but this last ban I'm looking at Chen for EG.
Yeah. I would 100% concur with you. They're happy to let the Windrunner through up against the Chikura like we talked about before. EG is going to feel confident enough against that Windrunner, but then again, it's still Light of Heaven's Windrunner, and you're going to be cautious with that little sucker. And Rubik is the final ban out here from Puppey. Looking just in case that Chrono is able to get stolen. Even if the swap gets stolen, VS stun, Templar Assassin Refraction, got all these options, and Rubik versus TA, another option that could have run that middle lane. Maybe Na'Vi kind of hope that Invoker's going to come in towards that middle lane, or who is actually going to run middle for EG? Queen of Pain is, at this point, the only other main counter to TA that's left in the pool. And Chen, there you go, banned out.
No surprises there, and like you say, Queen of Pain, probably the most probable hero for Geo in this mid lane. Maybe they even go for something that EG like to do, that pick up something like a Dragon Knight for the mid lane, rush the bottle, just use it to farm out, and it combines well with the Sven, the Undying. You can push down towers fast, just get that level 6 ultimate and just use that to push down towers. They need someone to maybe get a fast mech for their team, but they can get that with their other support hero. Maybe we even see Mount. We haven't seen much Enchantress, there wasn't Enchantress ban earlier. Maybe that's something which EG look to go for.
Na'Vi backed into the corner for Windrunner, so they are still going to go with it. They are still going to have confidence in Light of Heaven they can do this, or maybe they won't have confidence in the fact that he can do it up against the tri-lane, so maybe a switch around. Void, we do have the option if he wants to gank up on that top. VS, we know the first level stun, nice setup. Void can easily just jump in and start bashing away, get a couple levels up and you're looking pretty hunky-dory on that one. And Sven won't be able to run away, you get that slow out from the time walk in, and then Sven, Warcry, movement speed, it's going to help him, but it's not going to get him all the way out. Na'Vi go one extra kind of supporter kind of guy, and then
it's just way too risky for me. The VS, short range, Faceless Void, melee hero, and you look at this, you're up against Jakiro, one of the best tri-lane heroes in the game as far as being either offensive or defensive, and Undying. Decay on 3 heroes. It'd be so easy to hit multiple heroes when they've got such short range. You haven't got those 600 range supports, so I'd say with very unlikely. I'd be shocked if Na'Vi send the Faceless Void, Vengeful Spirit in an offensive tri-lane, unless they're expecting EG to do that and have some kind of a solo at the top lane. Then otherwise than that, we're not going to see it. Na'Vi going to send Light of Heaven up there just to try to survive. Maybe he even just uses those mid pulls. We've seen Windrunners just abandon that top lane and then come pull the mid camp. You've got Power Shot to actually clear out the trees. EG go with Beastmaster, possibly could be solo mid, could be in that off lane. Most likely going to be the hero for Demon in the off lane though.
I'm really surprised by this pickup, because in the off lane, it never works in the off lane.
I'd love to see it mid. It's something which happened in some of them at LGD. They ran it as a solo mid hero. They brought it back. They rushed Aghanim Scepter and just dominated the map, ganking around the map with the long rangement. It's great for locking down Faceless Void. He pops a Chronosphere as Beastmaster is sitting behind. He's so easy to be in range with a fast Aghanim Scepter, having that long range on the Raw. And it's a hero in the mid lane who can actually do okay against Templar Assassin if you're spamming down the axes, using some Bottle Crow action, and Na'Vi go with a hero which Puppey, well, he does like to run when some of those other jungle options are taken away.
Yeah, and he also likes it too when it's all about chasing and living, and you're going up against Sven, going up against Undying, and we get a Clint as well from EG.
Offensive tri-lane.
Yeah, it looks like it, man. It looks like it very, very strongly. That Beastmaster pickup is actually, you're talking about the middle lane, it's actually classic Demon. Demon, I remember when he first joined up in EG, it was where he would always run that middle lane that let him solo it up, and you get this awesome, awesome farm. But that was back in the days when you used to see like Brewmasters or Mealies looking to go up against each other in the middle lanes, and maybe a Venomous supporting or something like that, just to get these dual lanes or maybe just solo lanes, and it was all about the bottle control. And Demon is going to go on to that Beastmaster possibility. Fear is actually the Clinks, so we're looking at farmed up Clinks, a support Undying, Geo on the Sven, and that leaves Beaters onto the Jakiro, but laning, you could still see that Beastmaster in the middle lane, like you said.
Yeah, almost without a doubt. And this is, I mean, as you talk about classic heroes, Fear, if you go way back into Dota 1, years and years back, Clinks was one of his team's trademark heroes. We're going to see that probably in that safe lane, the offensive trial lane, and that's something which can really punish this Faceless Void pick. It's, to me, the Lycan pick from Na'Vi is very, very risky. It leaves the Faceless Void vulnerable in this bottom lane. EG run an offensive trial, and that's going to shut down his farm. Na'Vi with Puppey in the jungle, it's a hero that can also be pressured by an offensive trial lane. And then the Clinks in a 1v1 matchup against Light of Heaven, not going to be quite as easy as that 1v1 against the Darkseer, but we'll see how Light of Heaven manages there. That's going to be a very important lane for Na'Vi if we do see the Windrunner versus the Clinks.
Yeah. Because Light of Heaven, he does have that good evasion. He's got to be all about the timing of that one right. But if he gets silenced, if that Orchid, yeah, it's going to be brutal. It is going to be absolutely brutal. But Light of Heaven, we know his experience is going to be just as much as Fear's to see who can really come out on top if it is a 1v1. To see the guys just trolling around each other. We got ourselves a bit of a water closet break until the players get to come themselves back in again. But I don't think it really it leaves the Void vulnerable when you're talking about Lycan. Mainly because sure, it's going to come a little bit later. The support's going to come a little bit later, but that's going to be the same time as Void's going to really hit his mark. That's going to when we see the Chrono coming out, and maybe that Mask of Madness at that point. He will have that, and Puppey can set up. Drop him down low, give him the vision, those Lycan walls. Once they get level 4, obviously able to run around invis, and that gives him the vision to set up. We've got to remember Light of Heaven shackles. These things that are going to be causing a lot of issues for Sven before he gets that BKB. And even after he gets the BKB, the lockdown is there. For me, the key person in this EG lineup is Demon.
Yeah, he's going to be the one.
He cannot get caught out when that Void Chrono is going. If he gets caught out, and if Undying also gets caught out, this is all she wrote, because we're going to have Sven locked, Clinks locked, and doesn't matter if he's invis, Chrono will pull him straight out of that.
Oh yeah, as far as the team fights go, come mid to late game, and even some of those early game clashes, I think Na'Vi have the hero composition to do fantastic. The problem is going to be the laning. This lane at bottom lane is going to be a real struggle. Void, in theory, could get absolutely no farm. Vengeful Spirit isn't a support who can harass at all. They're up against a tri lane. And Lycan, he can't really offer anything to help at these early low levels. He's just going to be jungling as much as possible. So EG are just going to be looking to punish Na'Vi from the get-go with this laning stage. And if they get a strong lead, if they get some early kills, early towers, even just make sure Faceless Void doesn't get any farm, pressure the Lycan in the jungle, stop him from getting any farm, suddenly those, sure, maybe Na'Vi have the Chronosphere, have that great lockdown with the VS and the Windrunner, but they may not have the items to back it up.
Yeah. Yeah, you're 100% right, man. Shout out to AC.
30 seconds to battle.
Just stealing his lines. So Sasha Grey, as well as Asha, so Asat, wow, really? Horst will be down there as a Faceless Void. I love his first ability already, Time Walk. First thing he gets, it's not backtrack, it's not time lock. He's instantly worried about EG coming down towards his bottom lane and killing him early on. It's almost just, oh man, Beatty's going to be, oh no, not enough for blocking in. Not enough, you need the second warp to block Beatty's into that little corner and have some free damage out on him. They'll Puppey more micro skills.
Well, DD Rune to start things off. It is going to be the offensive trailing coming down from EG at bottom. Mr. Havos expecting this, of course, and well, top lane, we'll see how Light of Heaven manages. Hasn't gone for the boots first because he knows it's most likely going to be this 1v1 matchup against the Clinks, and much like Empire do, Fear has been pulled both at Tangos as well as the Salve this top lane. This is going to give him a much easier time against the winner, and this is all about the Clinks doing a lot of damage, having a fun time as far as farm goes. That's the one hero they want to ensure has a good start. Demon going to be crucial come those mid-game team fights, but the farm on Fear is absolutely crucial as well.
Yeah, you already see him opening up on Light of Heaven. He wants to force him back using as much searing arrows as possible. Light of Heaven comes a lot of damage, forced to win run, and Fear forced to also take up this damage, but now we're going to go man-man again. Light of Heaven on Fear. Light of Heaven really dropping low. One more right click from Fear would do the job, but he cannot get it in. And already the Salve gone from Windrunner. And Fear, the downside for him is they didn't pull him as many tangos as well as salves as we saw coming in for players like Funnick. Normally it's an extra set of tangos, and he's eating through his tangos to start with. But Light of Heaven, once he gets that level 2, battles like that turn around a lot more, because then you've got a lot of burst damage flying the way of Fear if it manages to hit.
Yeah, Fear went for the 2 branches instead of having another set of tangos now, so he's going to be careful here. And look at this, Havos is just TP top. He says, I cannot farm bottom lane. I'm surprised Navi weren't expecting the trial in there. If they wanted Havos to be up against the solo hero, they should have been in the expected lanes, but Navi, they now rotate Light of Heaven down bottom lane. That's TP gold being used up. Light of Heaven going to have to do his best to stay alive here. This is not an easy trial lane to survive against.
Yeah, there goes the stun. Decay already 435, and what a TP. Already wind run into the trees. And they have to dive back past that tower. Beat is a lot of damage. Light of Heaven with the power shot. Might be able to pick him off if he can get the line right. Maybe you can't. The first blood is there. The last Decay comes out, and EG, they're spilling the blood. We've already seen the lane transition, and Fear is loving this top lane. Backtrack for Void. He's hoping to get a couple of backtracks, but hope is the key word.
Yeah, and Navi need to bring supports there. Arsat sort of rotating towards the top lane, not the most mobile support hero, not even a hero that can really help much against the Clinks. Clinks will just harass down the Vengeful Spirit. You can kite the VS because of that short range, and that's going to really make it hard for him. Puppey in this jungle needs to have a good start, needs to just farm as fast as possible, and then Dendy's got to really just sort of alleviate some of the pressure around the map. Once he hits level 6, he can't just continue to sit around farming. He has to help out some of those other weak lanes.
Yeah. On the bright side for Dendy, though, is this middle lane. We're looking at 4 for 0 for Demon, and already 13 for 7 for Dendy. He's really controlling this middle lane. So you've got to look at who is really winning the lanes. First Blood goes down, but you're looking at Fear on this top lane. He's got 10 for 2, not bad, but you're still 6 for 2 up on her Vorst. And our one hero who was trying to be up here, which was the Windrunner, I suppose it's 1 for 0, but she can make sure this tier 1 tower doesn't go down the bottom lane. Sure, she might die every now and then, but the power shot, that's going to do the job. It's going to make sure Geo and Beaters can't over push this tower. We don't see the bonus gold.
Puppey's been scattered. He actually got scattered by the courier there. The courier bringing an item up to the Clinks at the top lane. Puppey was just trying to jungle in the enemy neutrals where he's considered to be safe, but spots out the courier, and as a result, in comes the Undying towards the top lane. The Undying no longer needed at bottom lane as much. The Sven Jakira can easily handle the winner. Maybe not going to be able to get the kills at bottom lane, but they're quite happy just to make sure Geo gets the free farm there.
Yep. Well, Lisa Vor's going to try and keep up a little bit more. And I'm wondering too if EG want to change around their lanes at some point. If they're just happy to think of this as an opening, maybe one stun out in Light of Heaven. He can't evade the stun itself, which means Beaters can follow up. It's just the problem is you can't right-click him directly after, but you'll get in close.
And as is the story from last game, Dendy at mid lane just destroying Demon in terms of farm. 18 creep kills, 15 denies. Demon just with the 7 and 3, and this is kind of what you'd expect from Dendy with this matchup. Very favoured towards the Templar Assassin, and not a matchup which Demon can really win as far as CS goes. He just has to try to stay alive as much as possible. It looks like he's doing some bottle crowing here just to use the axes to farm, and he's just trying to get the level 6. Once it's level 6, he can leave the mid lane, go look to gank some of these side lanes.
Demon getting a little bit lucky now, picking up an Invis rune, and the bottle arrives, so he's able to use a full bottle. And then we'll have all of his mana back again. Also notice too, Demon using his little integrated board to make sure he can stack up inside his own jungle. So making sure when the time is right, he's getting behind with Dendy, but he's able to stack up just on this little fun little camp with a Wilkin and a couple of trolls just off on the side. And that will catch up, not all of it, but it's definitely going to help if he needs to get that big burst up to level 6. All of a sudden, he's just like, where the hell did that come from? I'm rawed up, I'm ganked up, TP support comes to middle lane, and then the middle lane completely changes in balance. Yeah,
it really can be a nice little way to keep up there, and having that micro to actually continually stack it with that Quillbore really helps him out, as it is EG with that first blood and just slightly farming better around most of these lanes apart from mid lane. Fear having a decent time at top has gone for that fast Ring of Aquila just to help keep him alive. Not going to be rushing those Oblivion staff like we see from Funnick on the Clinks, but the Ring of Aquila in the 1v1 matchup that he's been having at least at the start, and now with 2 heroes there is a much sort of safer option than just rushing the squishier Oblivion staffs.
But he's out. We see Fear completely out of consumables, and this is still a dangerous point. We've got Arslan pulling off the side. Malcolm wants to try and do something about this, sitting at level 4, and faces 4. He's not getting any kind of levels up here, and I think that's the biggest problem. We're not seeing Chrono that early on, and Puppey, Nam, first done, Demon going to come in, and they're going to keep on beating him down. TA Trap trying to help and slow him down, but not going to be enough, and now it's Lycan getting sniped off inside the jungle, and we're sitting at 0 for 2 in favor of EG. And 1,500 gold, we're looking at 1,500 experience. Everything is going the way of Evil Geniuses right now. And that one also extra levels up for Demon. Gets him back, not on top. He's still one level completely behind Dendi. But it does mean that Roar is coming closer and closer and closer.
Oh yeah, Roar is going to be up. And I don't think there's any real reason for Dendi to stay mid lane unless... I'm sorry, not for Dendi, for Demon to stay mid lane against Dendi, because unless there's support heroes rotating in to come for a gank on Dendi with some sentries, maybe some dust, then there's no way Demon's going to be able to do anything to Dendi, push him out of the lane, get a kill on him. Demon still continuing to look for these runes. It's going to spawn bottom. Dendi does manage to scout that out with a trap, maybe going to try and take that for himself. Dendi has finished phase boots, he's got his bottle coming out, and this is going to be an important time for him. He's just hit level 7, he needs to get more active on this map.
Yep. Well, now they're going to have a look at Fear. Sentry wards on this top lane. It's Havorst wanting to really make a move, but he's got to know, he knew that was there. He might have to leap himself away from this. That ring gives him a small amount of regeneration at 6.6, but that is all, and that's not enough to come straight back into this lane. That was just a couple of right clicks out from the EG guys after the decay happened. And Puppey, again, now going to rotate up towards the top lane, and maybe now is the time when Navi want to change things around. They want to find a kill, they want to find someone out. The walls will start up, trying to get in front of Melk, trying to bring down the Tombstone to start with. That's exactly what Puppey's focusing on, and that's exactly what he gets. Loses one of his wolves to do so. The quick bottle charges up, gets his life, gets his mana. And Tombstone down, and Navi, they wanted the kill though. They really wanted that kill.
Yeah, they bring Puppey all the way top, and he's just level 4. It's not as if he's got that level 6 ultimate to help him chase the heroes down. He's investing a lot of time where he could be farming away in those neutrals. He wants to try turn the tides a bit. But Fear, he's got plenty of HP. He's up to over 1200 HP when he's used the Death Pact. And Undying's a hero who just needs to pop a couple decays. He gains a lot of strength. He's got the Soul Rip on top of that to heal himself up. These are not easy heroes to gank or kill. EG have just a very durable lineup. The Jakiro bottom lane, probably the most gankable hero, but even him, not the easiest hero to gank. He's got the Ice Path. He's also got the protection of a Stormbolt.
Yeah. And Void. When this level 6 hits, I don't want to take my eyes off this top lane, because if Fear... Oh, I suppose that Sentry Wall is probably going to be gone by that point, but if Fear gets caught out and he's able to get nailed before that Orchid comes up, and even delay by a couple of minutes, that couple of minutes is going to make a big, big gap for Denny. We've got Phase Boots up at him, Magic Wand, running his bottle as well, trying to use his wards to give him even more vision, and Demon trying to gank up on the bottom lane. He's leaving a lot of time to go, but he's looking for Puppey. But Puppey farming closer in and almost dying onto this little Ursa. Just cannot do anything without those walls, really. He tanks up a lot, but needs that Ring of Basilius, which now he has, but he hasn't picked it up, and Demon is searching for the kill.
Really smart positioning from Lightheaven. He's already backed right off. As soon as Beastmaster goes missing at mid lane, it's been communicated. He backs off, and it's expected that Beastmaster's either ganking bottom or top. He's not going to be staying mid against Dendi. He can't do anything there, so the rotation from Lightheaven gets anticipated. Now Beastmaster just forced to poke his head out, try and stop this T1 tower push, but here comes Dendi. He's got a double damage rune, and this is the one rune which can maybe take the fight to EG with just 2 heroes here.
Yep, he's going to look straight towards that Jakiro. There's the extra support. Double TP's coming in. Looks towards Geo, but he's going to want Beaters. Maybe not. Hits on Geo to start with. Needs that shackle. Light of Heaven. Doesn't manage to latch it. Beaters was too far away, but Vias follow up. Puppey's now behind him, and Beaters goes inside the trees to die.
Really good play by EG there. I say that with them having lost Jakiro, but that could have gone so much worse from them. Beaters is the sacrifice. Make sure he doesn't get shackled to a teammate. He's going to go down regardless there, and that's 4 heroes committing just to the Jakiro, and EG still walk away with the T1 tower at bottom. They've got heroes at top putting on pressure on the T1 tower. Fear going to just keep pelting away at this top tier 1, and this is not a good trade for EG.
He's got to keep going on this one, but maybe not. There's the decay, leaps himself away. Havorst really not sure about that, and then Fear Death Pact, he's fine. TP's coming in, 1k life, and it's going to be Dendi, TA trap. Who's he want? Melk or Fear? He's heading straight towards Melk. It's still the end of that double damage. He gets 1 hit with it. Meld hit already hit, and Melk low on life, not going to go any further, and very, very wisely falling back. That Jakiro Ice Path coming directly after him. Beaters very fast support towards that top lane, and now Havorst gets level 6. Timing on that top lane. It's still only 1 for 2. Denny's rotating around, he at least found 1 kill, but Havorst finds level 6, which means top tower, it can't be forced by EG anymore. That Chrono is too powerful for them.
Well, it's powerful if he has backup. Right now he's got no damage on his own, just sitting on boots and ring of health, no treads even, so he needs backup coming from either a winner on a power shot or Templar Assassin being just on the edge of it. Templar Assassin doesn't have points in the side blades, doesn't have the bonus attack rate, so it's going to be hard to combine the Chronosphere with some damage. All his teammates are just, they're pretty much all melee heroes apart from the Windrunner at the time being. VS very short range, same goes for the Templar Assassin, so it's going to be really hard to get that combo off, and I think for NAVI, they won't be looking to force a Chronosphere unless EG bring 3 or 4 heroes and really try force the tower down.
Yeah. And when that Chronosphere comes, there'll be everyone supporting, and we'll be looking at a massive, massive team fight. Until that point, Navi's happy to farm. Tier 1 towers go on the bottom lane. Not a problem for Light of Heaven and Arsat. They're a long way back. They're feeling pretty safe inside their own jungle. Puppey helping Dendy a little bit, and they can add some pressure towards this middle tower if they so desire. Of course, we've got flying in for Denny right now, so it's actually the bottle flying out for Denny. In fact, he's emptied the damn thing. And you got EG, well, there's your pull in. It's a forcing top tier 1 tower, and maybe the support has to come, or they look for the trade down the middle lane. Yeah, Demon's forced back, he's completely out of mana, and Puppey with the Howl, the TA trap, all they want to do is maybe just kill off this boar, and Puppey with that haste rune he's already popped, not going to pick it off. In fact, they are going to let the Tier 1 tower go.
Yeah, EG's item advantage right now is just too strong, and this combo of theirs with the Undying having even just a level 3 tombstone, Geo's got the fast drums, there's just no way they can fight it.
Yeah, Puppey getting stunned up, haste rune, still got a lot of time left on him, but Puppey's holding just in case. At the same time, Light of Heaven and Arsat, they've almost killed off this Tier 1 tower in the bottom lane, and in fact, they will succeed. Tier 1 tower goes down, so it's at the end of the day, a Tier 1 for a Tier 1.
Yeah, and Navi almost getting the mid Tier 1 as well. EG making sure they defended that. If they get just the Tier 1 and lose both mid and bottom, it's not looking good for them as far as trades go. So they get back in time, they defend the mid lane, they lose the bottom lane, but it's still, it's giving space for Navi. Navi really want farm and levels right now, and Faceless Void gets some time at top lane. Finally, the wave's being pulled back to his Tier 2 tower. He's going to have some pretty much safe farm, at least for a couple of minutes up here, unless EG really want to pressure him, and this is what Navi have been waiting for. This next couple of minutes for Havos is really going to be important. The other 4 heroes for Navi need to just be split pushing around the map. They can't really team fight right now, but they've got heroes like Lycan who can farm the jungle, send wolves out to push out lanes, and just be a bit of a general nuisance for EG.
Also a nice general nuisance, going to be a Medallion of Courage already bought up for Puppey. So this is going to be that time, not only just to rotate around and be dual pushing, but if they can find just one hero out, combine that up with the effect of Dendy, it's going to be a quick kill. And also the possibility too, if Havos is able to get to that point where he gets so powerfully takes a fight, it's a very quick Roshan. We're taking Mel into account, we're taking Medallion of Courage into account. Dendy, he's just going to try and snipe this mid tower with beaters at the same time. Doesn't want to let it happen. The Decay, the Ice Path, both, well, actually only one missing, then TA Trap slows him out. They're trying to deny Dendy, trying to come in for the snipe, not doing so. Demon in there with the Roar, as well as the Macro Pyre. Everyone committing, and even the TP comes in. Geo wants to be part of this. The tower gets sniped, but they commit so much to do so. They want that Tier 1 tower gone in the middle lane to counter for everything they just threw into the middle lane.
Fantastic positioning from Demon, just waiting behind that mid Tier 1 tower. And they're going to get not just the kill, they get the deny, and now they're going to go straight for the Tier 1 mid tower. Na'Vi getting caught out, and EG, the mind games, the baiting. You saw it last game, laying traps for Na'Vi. Once again, it happens at mid lane. Here with Demon, and EG really in a good position now with that Tier 1 mid tower being taken out. They've taken all these Tier 1s. They're going to back off for the time being. They want to try just farm up those next couple items.
Fear's got Orchid. He's about to open up on Havos, and this is going to be backtrack a couple of them, but he might even pop from this last little point, and he does do so. Fear soloing Havos on the top lane.
Well, trouble for Na'Vi. Not enough backtracks mixed in there, and Faceless Void getting picked off at top lane is really going to hurt them. It's going to create space for EG. They're poking around the Roshan pit. Lycan, actually Wolf scouts them out, so EG, I think, decided it's not the time. They need Klinks with them. They need that additional DPS, and Klinks just happy to keep playing this 4-1 split type game. It's the same kind of style Empire use. Have Klinks just walk around the map, look for those solo kills, look to just cause Na'Vi problems, picking off these squishy heroes. Even heroes like Lycan just can be so killable with the Orchid. You can prevent him from using that ultimate, hasting array. Any of these heroes can be killed with a silence.
I still can't believe the fact that Divorce is still going to go for the Battle Fury at this point of the game. Like, I've seen a couple of voices say, you know, a Battle Fury, we just can't really get to it at that point, so why don't we go something like the Maelstrom to start off with. That way we at least get our ability to farm, but also damage and attack speed coming out. But he's got the Perseverance on him already, and now hunting. Would you believe Fear is just like, well, searching for somebody. Searching for somebody. And he's about to pop out of his invis in a moment. And then Sentry Wards! Doesn't get the stun! Shackle will fly, doesn't latch, and Fear can't finish the job. VS won't pop, he gets pretty damn low though.
Got that silence off Justin. Arsat drops his Sentry Ward, immediately gets silenced. If he gets that stun off, Fear goes down. So great reaction from Fear, and well, he gets out of there alive, which is the big thing. You can just go back top, keep on farming. The rest of his team grouped up near mid lane. Maybe going to try and make another attempt at this the Roshan pit here. Demon going to go join up with him. He hasn't got any points in that Inner Beast aura. I'm going to make it a bit slower, but he's been prioritizing that map control, maxing out the Call of the Wild, and really just using that Hawk to spot out anything Na'Vi try and do.
Well, Na'Vi, even if they do want to try and stop this, I don't think they've got the power to do so. Wolves going to scout it out, or are they? No, they'll just keep on farming for Puppey. They would have had the vision. They know they've been dewarded. They know EG is completely missing, so It is obvious that Roshan is being done. Puppy's been sending it each time, and there's a Wolf coming in. Misses on the dual breath. He's going to say hi, and Geo just destroys it. But Navi, they're making the move. Denny's on the way. He's got Blink Dagger if he wants to jump in. TA Trap just scouting out behind him. That ward is still there, giving them perfect vision, knowing that trap is there. But EG, they're not phased. No one's really there. There's still 2 heroes in the top lane, 1 on the bottom. Puppy's farming up the jungle, and Denny just said hi.
Yeah, Beaters on the high ground, ready for any heroes coming in. The Ice Path is just a guaranteed win if Navi try and engage. They haven't got BKBs up anywhere near, nothing of the sort which can help man the fight. And this has got to be Denny, probably rushing a BKB. He can't be going for DPS here. He just needs the survivability against the stuns coming out from the Sven, the Jakiro, even the Beastmaster all going through BKB. It's still got to be survivability first for Navi when you're behind. EG just in great control of this game.
The question is,
bottom lane. Havos solo killed again by Fear. Orca Malevolence lead things off, and this is twice in the last couple of minutes. Trouble for Navi. If their Faceless Void can't even farm. He's getting solo killed by a Clinks at this point. Navi, EG don't even have to commit multiple heroes to these kills.
And this is the power we've seen from Clinks. Clinks is almost the story of demolishing teams this tournament. We've seen Funnick do it already, and this time it's in the hands of Fear. Just a different way of doing it. They protected him a lot more, which means this farm came through and he's really making the most of it. Find the kills around the map. Already sitting at 2 kills for nil. Question is, can he find more, and will Navi give him more?
Well, he's looking for more at this mid lane. He's positioned himself just below these towers, out of vision, trying to find just a little pick off. Maybe a hero going to walk right into him here. Havos thinks about going down.
Yeah, he's going to want the Chrono. Jump into Chrono is what he wants to do, but that's the reason why we're also seeing just an Ice Path hero sitting back a little bit further. Demon, he's a little bit too close, so he's the one that could be caught out, but there's no BKB up on that Faceless Void. That's why he's not worried about it at the moment. But then again, Puppy trying to run up through the high ground. There's the TA Trap slowing down Fear. They saw him for a very, very quick moment where there's no more attack. We even got Dust, and we got something. We got another sentry on Puppy. But that is all.
It's really tough for Navi to take these fights. Even if they catch 2 or 3 of those frontline heroes, even if Demon gets caught, Jakiro Beaters, his positioning throughout this game, first around the Roshan pit, positioning himself always off to the side from his team. And there, with those 3 heroes, Beastmaster, Undying, and Sven grouped up, hitting the tower, even Clinks with them. The one hero who was not in Chronosphere range, if Faceless Void tried to go in, was Jakiro. He would immediately drop the Ice Path onto Faceless Void if Void tried to go in. And that's just going to make it really hard for Navi to find these ultimates until we see. I mean, the Battle Fury up, and then you need items on top of that, like a BKB, like a Butterfly, and that's going to be a long time coming for Navi. They've got to really look to try force this into the late game, and EG just using their time more efficiently, farming away, stacking Ancients, and just maximizing their efficiency around the map with Fear off on his own, and then the other heroes grouped up, taking the fight to Navi.
Yeah, they're absolutely loving it, man. There's so much money coming their way. Demon making the most of this Ancient stack with the double damage runes and the axes. Everything just disappears for him. Everything just disappears, and Mal, he's just sitting there soaking up a little bit of experience as well. He's already got 4 points up in that Tombstone, so even if Navi want to try and push down towers, if they want to try and initiate into EG, it's just not possible. And if EG want to really force the point, throw down the Tombstone behind the tower, really starts to screw with Navi's momentum, then he wants to jump in and kill that off. Not easy to do. He's got 1 item which gives him maneuverability. Other one, a little bit of extra damage and movement speed, but that's it. We're not looking at a big damage dealing item. We're 90 minutes in, we've got no BKB, we've got no Desolator. Light of Heaven is still not able to finish up his mech. Arsad is basically a walking boot, swords, and wand.
It's really tough for Navi. They're just being starved for farm as well as levels all around the map. EG, different story. You've got Beastmaster already with the Necrobook 1 sitting on this screen. It looks like he's just going to be saving for the full Necrobook 3. He's not even bringing it out to him. He just wants to catch Navi by surprise. They'll go for a big team fight or a big push, and someone will be like, where did this Necrobook come from? We'll have either level 2, maybe level 3 Necrobook up soon, and this Ancient stack just accelerating Demon's farm. And well, it's not just Demon, it's the rest of EG as well. You've got BKB just about finished on Geo.
Yeah, this is really, really dangerous times coming for Navi, but also great times for EG. They're feeling confident. They're feeling really smooth. The pressure is not on them. The pressure is definitely on EG to make sure they can make these plays. But Navi to make sure they can make these plays. And Fear hunting Dendy. He's just waiting for the refraction to end. And he starts off with the Orca, but Dendy, Haste Rune, runs, wants to turn around and attack Fear, and then Fear gets himself a regeneration rune and jumps in Viz. Everything is going the way of EG.
Well, for Navi, it's the group up at top. They want to try to take this tier 1 top down. It looks like EG getting in position. TP's to the tier 2 tower. They'll save the TP to the tier 1s, maybe for a hero like the Beastmaster. The TP right in front, and well, here we go. EG want to defend this. They don't want to give Navi anything to work with.
Well, it's going to be them having to get themselves in. There's that Tombstone, TP towards the front lines. Melk pops off the Omen, Havorce pops the Chrono. Now wants to turn around. The Chen, he threw out one stun. Now he's going to go towards Melk. He couldn't decide. Havorce tried between the two, and then they both Warcry. There's the catch out. Beat is behind. Wonderful, wonderful macro pie. Navi comes a lot of damage from that one. Windrunner, Raw flies out too. Dandy held in position. One last dust before he's going to die. Then the stun over towards Havorce. It's too much damage. They're losing too many heroes. And Puppey, now he's being focused down by Fear. It's almost a full team wipe against NAVI. Arsa, the only one back at base to live. And EG will take tier 2.
Just annihilate NAVI. The Tombstone not even used in that fight. Gets planted at the tower to stop NAVI from pushing in. But EG just have too much firepower. Too many just strong disables with the Stormbolt. The Raw being used to lock down Dendy. And then Fear, the DPS to back it up, as well as Geo there. Having completed that BKB, NAVI just have no answers for this EG squad.
No, they don't. And now the push comes in. Tier 3 tower is fortified to try and let it live. Shackle flies out, manages to latch up Sven. Everyone is back up and alive for NAVI, but they've got to get themselves back into position, and the Tombstone's already there, waiting for this counter initiation, and maybe EG possibly overextending themselves. They take out the tier 3 tower, they want Rax too. Void, no ulti, but Dendy trying to go out. Geo with a stun, they turn around, quick decay. Owl of Terror falls a little bit short, maybe Malk caught a little bit of it. TA Trap tries to slow, quick stun. Malk stunned up, and he's going to take it for the rest of his team. He's not too careful. That Medina Courage, a force like sweet! Freebie, time warp, there he goes, and Malk goes down. I think he was trying to deny himself towards the tower, and Geo on the run, but Dendy on his tail, blinks up, blocks him up. BKB from Geo, but Dendy takes it like a man. Now Fear, unable to do that damage. Refraction helps him off. Beat is causing a lot of issues. Demon, in fact, already getting a kill. Puppey with the Omen form. Now wants to come back down to Beaters and Demon. He's trying to bring down RSR. One last right click might do the job, but the Necro units, they're trying to help him out. It's all from Demon. In fact, those level 3 Necro units. Demon with a double kill, but he's being focused down by NAVI. Triple kill for Dendy, and he's on the run from the Necro units. 4 heroes lost from EG, and they did not get the racks.
Well, NAVI strike back. They show there's still some life left in them, and their backs being pushed up against the wall, but they're not out of this. They are still going to fight on. They don't get the Clinks. Clinks now up to 4k gold. Fear just having a fantastic time, but it's buying time for the Faceless Void, getting him closer and closer to this battle free. He's got his broadsword just 350 gold away from the completed battle free. A nice item to help him farm fast, but also in these chronospheres, he hits one on 2-3 heroes. The cleaving damage will just really give him a lot of DPS, which is going to help him out a lot. Then he needs to start working towards that BKB, I feel. It's just going to be the one item which can keep him alive. Raw's so far being primarily used on Dendy, because he's been the one packing most of the damage coming from this NAVI side.
It's kind of surprising though, with Fear going on Dendy. He thought he could take it, he knew that a lot of supports were behind, and Demon was the one who was splitting up the rest of NAVI so they couldn't come and support him. But he started off on Dendy when he had full refraction up. Tried the Orchid, tried to go, Orchid ended up wearing off, his right clicks then did absolutely nothing. Maybe open up and then go into the Orchid, or was he just trying to worry? Maybe then meld it, then right clicks. What's going to happen? Is he able to bring me down? Is that even possible right now? He finishes up Yashin now. But we've got a net worth over 10k Clinks going up against a Templar Assassin with 7.5. It's the most farmed hero on NAVI, but is it really that kind of like fear that, well, not intended, that Fear had of Dendy?
I think it was more just this, he doesn't know when they're fractured, he doesn't know when he can actually go in and get the kill. Chasing Dendy around the corner, there's always the possibility of the chain disables coming in, the shackle shot chained with the Vengeful Spirit stun. There's a lot of burst damage coming out from Templar Assassin, and that's something Fear, until he gets a BKB, maybe what he's going to go for here. We'll have to see if he wants to play this, basically go high risk, go the build which we've seen, well, we've seen Funnick do both, where he goes Orchid into BKB, other times he goes Orchid straight into that crit, straight into that Daedalus. Be interesting to see what Fear does with this gold. How confident is he? And with EG's lead, I think you could justify just going straight for that crit. Just have that pure burst damage and just instantly take out some of these heroes. Heroes like Vengeful Spirit, even heroes like Lycan, Faceless Void. If you silence them up and they can't use Lycan's ulti, Faceless Void, his time walk out, they will go down instantly to some high DPS from the Clinks. And it's not just Clinks we're talking about. You look at the Templar Assassin, you're talking about that's the highest on NAVI. There's 3 heroes on EG higher than him. The Solo Mid Beastmaster, as well as the Farming Sven, both those heroes having more net worth than Templar Assassin.
Yeah, it's... Maybe that confidence is there, but maybe they also want to play safely. Like, they're one game away from knocking NAVI out of Dreamhack. It's not a situation they would want them. They want to be in that situation, but it's not a situation they probably would have thought they would find themselves in. Could we remove him out 2-0? Havorce now reconnects back into the game, but it's just a very unusual situation for them, and they might go defensive. And it's possible that might be the best decision, but it's also possible that's going to give some space to NAVI. We saw them, they hold their racks, they managed to counter up against EG. There was no buybacks involved, they didn't lose any money, they didn't have any money. So, at this point, NAVI could win a fight, take out 4 heroes, maybe after a couple of abilities down for EG, but we're still looking at NAVI winning a fight. And that's going to get into EG's mind. And I think it's going to make them play very, very defensive. And we'll see BKB up on Fear. We'll see these holdback items, like the Lincoln Sphere items of the game.
The one hero who can kind of make Na'Vi win those fights we talked about has got to be Light of Heaven. Is those shackle shots. It's the one thing Na'Vi have that can help them take these mid-game team fights. There's no real other setup for them. I mean, they've got the Chronosphere. Maybe Chronosphere goes in first, but to follow it up, you need multiple dual hero shackle shots from Light of Heaven. They just haven't got the items to burst down heroes to deal with the Necrobook 3, to deal with the Tombstone, unless they're disabling heroes with these shackle shots.
Right, there's our call to go. And of course, is the one up on that top lane, and Fear's still up here looking around. But Fear's, he's got to use this cash. He's got to use this cash, because right now it's like burying your money in your backyard. It does absolutely nothing. He's still got Orchid and Treads, and that's all he's bringing to the fight. Is it a Crystallis? Nope. He can buy it, but he hasn't bought it.
Yeah, we need to see something come out soon. He's heading to the secret shop here. Maybe he picks up that Demon Edge. There we go. He's going to buy something. What's it going to be? Demon Edge it is. So either could be an MKB. There is a win runner in the game, so MKB still a strong choice for Fear, but the crit is the better. As far as pure damage goes, crit is the better option for some of these other targets.
Man, this line of Templar Assassin traps in behind everything. As well as
Gem on Demon as well. This is being used to just deny Na'Vi of any map control, and this is going to be the way EG look to play this out. They want to starve Na'Vi, give them no openings to farm. They don't know where it's going to be safe to farm. They don't know where EG are moving around the map. They don't know if EG are farming, ganking, once they've had all these wards dewarded by Demon, which is something he's going to spend some time doing now with this gem.
Dandy sets a low in the middle lane, and there's Fear going to have a bit of a crack. This one support is coming in for him, and Dandy, Refraction's going to wear off. If he's able to get the silence, maybe it's the time. Look for that Orchid, but he's so damn fast. There goes the phase boost, but there's the attack. Dandy really low on life. One more right click, Fear needed it, but Dandy juking him around the trees. He will not pop in that haste rune. Happy to have that up his sleeve.
Yeah, Dandy gets out of there. Can also bottle up. As soon as the attacks start happening, he starts bottling up. So not enough from Fear. This is where he needs to be spending that gold. If he wants to get up the Dead Alice, if he wants an MKB, needs to start buying towards that. He has got the Demon Edge, but he needs that next big damage item if he wants to be getting kills like that on Templar Assassin. Faceless 4, you're going to get harder to kill as well. Having out 3 points now in that backtrack, it's got to be... I mean, Fear can't really do it all on his own for the rest of this game. He's going to really just go with his team. He needs the Ice Path, the Roar from the Beastmaster, the Sven Stormhammers to help set up some of these kills, and also additional sources of damage coming from these heroes as well.
I'm already Puppy checking out for the Rosh Pit, and already EG preparing themselves to go in. And EG, they're going to have to fight up against Na'Vi. They're making their move over. They're starting to look at it again. One Wolf gets inside, and he'll remain there as long as possible until Demon walks in. And then Wolf is... yeah, Demon walks past it, just leaves the Wolf. He likes pets, he likes dogs. But Roshan up in about 5 seconds' time. And the question is for Na'Vi, do they try and stop this? Do they think that they can take a fight inside this pit? If Chrono is right, hell yes they can.
Oh, yeah,
but only if Chrono is right.
Not a
and
chance.
Force is nowhere near it. This is over.
And Na'Vi just happy to not contest this road. And they don't have the heroes, they don't have the items to actually do that. Sure, EG are grouped up here. They've got 3 heroes in the Roshan pit. Could get a Chrono hero and at least 3 heroes, maybe a 4th. But Malk's above. He can put down the Tombstone. Beaters is slightly below. He can drop the Ice Path. There's just no way Na'Vi can contest it. They're better off just trading as well as they can, which is getting farm, getting that next level of items up. You've got Puppy and Dandy farming in the neutrals. You've got a couple of heroes farming at top. Havos, the main one, who needs to get up that next big item, needs his BKB. Ogre Club is up. He's got the Mithril Hammer, still needs 1k gold on top of that. So EG probably want to try and take the fight to Na'Vi before that BKB is up.
Well, that means they've got to move fast. Havos just moving between creep camp to creep camp to creep camp. He can't get the Ancients. There's basically none of them. And he also knows if he goes out that far, you open yourself for Fear to gank you. And if he moves too far away from the rest of his team, then Fear is going to gank him. It's this horrible, horrible scenario he's currently part of. I'm more interested to see what Denny's going to buy. He's currently walking around with his Yasha. Is he looking for a damage-dealing armor? Is he looking for something else? He's got 2.3k gold up his sleeve, and now he's going to 100% force this tier 2 tower in the middle lane, trying to force EG to turn around on him.
Yeah, they want EG is just going to go straight down this top lane, it looks like, and Dendy's going to be forced to TP back before he can even take the tier 2 tower. It looks like EG are just not stopping this top lane. These Rax is just completely left alone, and well, there's a glyph up, but where are NAVI? Where are their Raxes going?
They're not TPing back, they're letting it go. They want tier 2 towers instead. They haven't TP'd back, and that's a tier 2 tower in the bottom lane. It's a tier 2 tower in the middle lane for the price of their top Rax. And Fear wants to keep on going. In fact, they're not even going for a double Rax. Now Fortification's going to go. TPs are coming back, and EG, they're trying to go for the tier 4s, but they might be overextending themselves a little bit to do this. Look for a shackle from Light of Heaven. Is it going to fly? No, it's not. EG's
this is what
already
they're waiting for. BKB up on Faceless Void. That's why they're trading those towers. I think they decided against an Aegis on the side of EG, there's no way they can contest that fight for the Raxes. They don't have that tier 3 tower up. They say 2 tier 2s for the Raxes. Well, it's as good as it's going to get. It also gets Faceless Void, the BKB up. So now NAVI can fight EG. If EG look to go for a push down one of these other 2 lanes, NAVI just going to have to do as well as they can with the BKB on Faceless Void. Not to mention Faceless Void, a decent hero for pushing out the top lane, even with the Raxes being dropped because of this Battle Fury.
Yeah, it also means too that if NAVI are capable of winning a big team fight, they'll go straight down that middle lane or straight down that bottom lane if there's any kind of momentum with it, and they can look towards a counter Rax because those tier 2 towers are now gone. But that, of course, is heavily reliant on the winning a team fight. And until the Aegis the Immortal lock, how long we got left on that little sucker? We've still got another 4 minutes before the Aegis the Immortal is reclaimed. And it looks like EG is grouping up. They want that last remaining outer tower gone, or sorry, second last remaining outer tower gone. And that's on the bottom lane. The tier 2 is basically full health, and they know Navi's not going to contest it.
Yeah, they're not going to test the tier 2 tower. EG are probably going to try force this tier 3, go for this bottom set of Raxes now with this Aegis, with the high DPS coming out from Fear with the MKB. Navi are going to be forced to try find an engagement, find that big Chronosphere to set up a team fight. It's the only way they can deter and push EG back, and EG, they're not stopping. They're going to keep on going down bottom lane.
Yeah, this is going to be the fight, and Avorst, he's already TP'd in towards the tier 3 tower in the middle lane, and now they've got to jump in. 4 heroes pretty close together, but Demon is sitting on the back. They pick up Geo, and that's a deep Chrono. Shackle and Sven, he's going to go down. Big fight now. The Macro Pie doing a lot of damage to Avorst. He needs to live through this. Puppy doing what he can. The Necro unit's trying to focus him in, and Melk, he can't get in nice and close. Dendy just sitting on the back line, trying to get rid of these Necro units. They still haven't brought down the Rax. Sven remains on the sidelines. Line of Heaven looks for the line for the Shackle shot, but now he's getting silenced up. Orchid, and pops him. Fear now dominating, and they will take the melee Rax on the bottom, and Navi, they are almost 2 full Rax down, and now are in fact 2 full Rax down. They need some chasing, going on Demon. Avorst is there, wonderful ice path from Beaters, Puppy orchided, focused down by Fear. Now it's going to be Avorst, and they will get everything. They'll get the GG. Navi is out, and the Americans, Evil Geniuses, take out the tournament favorites. And Navi will sit on the sidelines going, WTF.
USA as well. This is just some incredible performance coming out from EG. And it was just 2 very strategically well-executed games. The strategies was there. Navi, they had the weak laning stage. EG punished it both games in. And Faceless Void never found the room to farm. The Lycan in the jungle as well, a hero which just couldn't find the space needed to get in there. And EG, they are going through the semifinals. They have just knocked out Navi, your second place team from the International, your second place team from the last Dreamhack. And what a performance from EG. They are now looking like a top title contester, which is a complete difference from yesterday, where in the group stage, it was a bit disappointing. So amazing showing from EG.
Yeah, that is, man. That absolutely is. And I think they've taken everybody's breath away. Navi also, like, to have this kind of performance, to get knocked out in the quarterfinal, as James was saying before we even started off, there's so much pressure on Navi not to have this kind of reputation. Dreamhack, they got knocked out at the 2nd position by MTW last Dreamhack. Now they attend again, and they're knocked out by Evil Geniuses in the quarterfinals. This is just one of those things where you say, Navi, maybe Dreamhack is this title they may never claim. Unless they take it seriously as well.
It's the one that seems to elude them. I mean, as far as their play goes, their approach, I'm sure once they're in game, they're taking it as seriously as possible. I think the teams going up against them have just done a lot more preparation as far as drafting goes, as far as thinking out how they want to play this game, how they can defeat Navi. Navi just haven't done the same research about some of these other teams. But anyways, Navi knocked out EG. Well, going on to the semi-finals, and I've got to say, it's been a fantastic ride so far from EG. We're going to be rejoined back at the desk now. Draskell, as well as James, and